National Football League kicks off its 83rd season. Now please direct your attention to a special message by President Bush, followed by America the Beautiful.
It is my pleasure to help kick off the 83rd season of the National Football League. Today, the excitement starts all over again, and the tradition continues. In stadiums all across America, some of our nation's finest athletes will again take part in one of the world's greatest sports. Football is a game that tests strength and rewards courage, a sport that emphasizes teamwork and honors individual effort, and an experience that is uniquely American. So today I salute the NFL for its storied past and for its boundless future. I thank the players for remembering that they are more than athletes to their fans. They are role models to all our children. I wish every player good health and great success. I wish each team the best of luck.
John Gruden was born to coach football. Coordinator at age 31. Head coach at age 35. Now at the age of 39, after 4 years in Oakland, Gruden carries the hopes of the city of Tampa on his shoulders. Can the Buccaneers take the next step in 2002? On a beautiful afternoon in South Florida, Fox Sports welcomes you to Raymond James Stadium as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get set to host the New Orleans Saints. Good afternoon, everybody. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. Kickoff weekend in the NFL, year 9 of the NFL on Fox. And for the first time, the Buccaneers and Saints meet as division rivals.
Division rivals, and a lot of people think Tampa Bay is the standard in this new division. Of course, they have been a playoff team, but they've been known as a defensive team, one of the premier defenses with an offense that has lagged behind. So what did they need? They needed something explosive, something innovative, an offensive genius. Well, they may have gotten one with new coach John Gruden, but they had to give something up. The Glazers had to kick out $8 million, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks to the Oakland Raiders, but they've got him here. So now they've got innovation, and he's got the quarterback that can do this, run this offense well. Brad Johnson has taken every team he's been with to the playoffs, and he's got targets. He's got Mike Allstott. But despite this West Coast kick-it-around offense, John Gruden himself told us yesterday, you can't win the big one if you're 30th in the running game. That's what they were last year. He wants to get that run game going, and they're going to need it today because if they get into predictable passing situations, Jim Haslett's New Orleans Saints have had more quarterback sacks in the last 2 years than any other team in the NFL.
The Saints, a team that overachieved in 2000, underachieved last season. They dropped their final 4 games by an average of 27 points, so quarterback Aaron Brooks and the Saints look to bounce back.
Well, and Aaron Brooks, he tailed off at the end of last season, and Jim Haslett told us yesterday that he felt that he was partially responsible, that they pushed Brooks too much, pushed the whole team too much, and they faded towards the end of the season. So he lightened up a little bit this year in preseason. The other thing he did in preseason was he said, we need to win those games, and they won 3 of them. We need to get our confidence back, and Deuce McAllister gave him confidence. He ran for 4.8 yards a carry rushing, so this team is back on track. Biggest concern for them today is that Tampa Bay front.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Kickoff weekend 2002 continues in the National Football League here in Tampa. And Tim, after the Saints offense was introduced over the public address, the Buccaneers took a page from the book of the New England Patriots at the Super Bowl. Buccaneers were introduced as a team.
That's how they're going to have to take it to the next level. They've got to do it all the way, all 3 phases of the ball. Defense was always a given, but they've got to get offense and special teams involved as well. And then the Saints, Kenny, they did the same thing. They came out as a team as well.
Saints finished with a record of 7-9 last season under head coach Jim Haslett. They lost their last 4 games. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team this afternoon, Chip Carter. Chip?
Thanks a lot, Kenny. Standing here with John Lynch, 10 years on this ball club, 3 head coaches. Have you ever been part of a week like this, though, with John Gruden, a different kind of coach?
I've been in the league 10 years, never been more excited, and I think that's the same for our team. Feel like we have a great opportunity. We know it starts here today. It's a division game. It's the opener. Very important.
Defense has always been the philosophy of this ball club, and now with Gruden, the whole idea is he's going to come in with an offense that's going to take the pressure off of you guys.
We're still going to do our thing. Our job is to keep them up the scoreboard. That's what we'll always know. It's going to be fun to watch our offense and our special teams, though.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Let's go back upstairs to Kenny.
All right, thanks, Chip. John Lynch, the senior member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Saints have won the toss. Martin Gramatica gets things started with a short kickoff here in Tampa. Back at the 11-yard line, it's second-year man Michael Lewis. And he's stopped at the 23 after a 13-yard return. Aaron Stecker on the special teams tackle for the Buccaneers. Aaron Brooks in his 4th season out of Virginia. 26 touchdown passes a year ago tied Jim Everett's franchise record. Brooks signed a 6-year contract extension yesterday.
Kenny, I said the Saints, don't be surprised if they come out and spread things out to try to loosen up this Tampa Bay defense. You and I were just talking. Well, here they come. There's 3 wide receivers out on the field right now. Dante Stallworth, their first-round rookie draft pick, he's out there.
From the 25-yard line, it's Deuce McAllister on first down, and Greg Spires replacing the injured Marcus Jones. In on the stop after a gain of just 2 by McAllister, setting up 2nd and 8. Up front for the Saints, Kyle Turley has moved from the right side over the left tackle. Charles Bentley, terrific camp, first-round pick out of Ohio State. McAllister in the backfield with Smith, Horn, Pathon, the former Colt, and the ex-Detroit Lion, David Sloan, is the tight end.
Now they're showing 4 wides.
2nd and 8 from the 27. Saints keep it on the ground with McAllister. And again, a good defensive effort by the Bucs, led by Shelton Quarles. A gain of just 2, setting up 3rd down and 6. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have finished in the top 10 defensively in the NFL the last 5 years. Sapp and McFarland the tackles. Quarles now starting in the middle with Brooks and Singleton. Barber tied for the NFL lead, 10 interceptions a year ago, and Lynch, of course, the hard-hitting safety. Third down and 6.
Here's where Warren Sapp is at his best.
Brooks out of the shotgun, rolling right, pass complete for a first down to Joe Horn. Brian Kelly made the tackle. After a gain of 8 from Brooks to Horn as the Saints moved the chains.
Well, Kenny, the Saints came out and we saw a 3-wide formation on first down, a 4-wide formation on second down. They ran the ball both times with no success because Warren Sapp, Anthony McFarland, Greg Spires, they were right there in the middle to jam it up. But third down, when it's critical, Aaron Brooks with the rollout and shows you why he got the big contract.
Here comes the blitz again, 4 wide receivers. Brooks under pressure, forced to throw it away. Shelton Quarles came up the middle, was in Brooks' face.
You know, this is what they were talking about on the pregame show. Remember how Michael Irvin showed us on the pregame show, the receiver has got to read the blitz and be ready. Watch this here. The receiver, Jake Reed, he's not ready. So Aaron Brooks, he reads the blitz. Look at him. He's going to throw his hot route, and Jake Reed is not ready to pick that ball up.
Now 2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line. Play action. Brooks over the top. McAllister. Quarles was there first for the Bucs, and then the combination of Sapp and McFarland, a gain of just 3.
This is why this defense has been one of the best in the league over the last 5 seasons. Yeah, they make the play. Shelton Quarles does a good job, but it's special because you get something extra from the 2 big guys. Watch them. They're rushing the passer, The ball's thrown. Look at him turning downfield to hunt down the ball carrier. That's taking it to the next level.
Saints have to get to the 48-yard line for a first down, and they do as Brooks hits the tight end, the longtime Detroit Lion David Sloan in Buccaneers territory, a gain of 11.
And Sloan was covered by Greg Spires. So Tampa Bay going with that zone blitz, right? A defensive lineman, he has to pull out to give an overload blitz. He pulls out into the zone coverage, and Aaron Brooks does a great job of recognizing it and throwing the ball to his tight end, David Sloan, who's covered by a defensive end.
Third down defense, a problem for the Bucs last year. The Saints on this drive are 2 for 2 on 3rd and long. From the Tampa Bay 47, the pitch to McAllister. Cuts to the outside and is forced out of bounds by Derek Brooks after a gain of 5 on first down.
Well, they love Deuce McAllister within the New Orleans Saints organization. In fact, Jim Haslett told us yesterday, and he was happy to get rid of Ricky Williams. He felt like there was no comparison between Deuce McAllister and Ricky Williams. Look at the numbers. McAllister, 5.7 yards average last season, but you see he didn't get a lot of carries. But in the preseason, he was at 4.8.
McAllister says, I feel like a second-year rookie.
The other thing he could do is play out at the wide receiver position.
On 2nd and 5, Brooks took a hit as the pass was caught by the rookie out of Tennessee, Dante Stallworth, chased down by Derek Brooks.
This is just Anthony McFarland just blasting right up through the A-gap. You talk so much about Warren Sapp. Watch McFarland. Look at him come right up through, right past the center, and he disrupts this pass. Here he comes. Almost a catch. But you can see there the ball did touch the ground.
Well, it was ruled complete.
Oh, it was, yeah, but
Buccaneers did not challenge. Brooks to the outside, complete to Horn for a first down. Dexter Jackson forced him out of bounds. Penalty marker on the field. As we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tim, Chicago was down by 10 at the half with 35 seconds left in regulation. Jim Miller hooks up with David Terrell, a 9-yard strike. It is now 27-23, less than 30 to play. Back to Kenny and Tim.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 55, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Derek Brooks flagged for the personal foul, unnecessary roughness.
If you look at this Tampa Bay defense, last season they were ranked only 6th, and for them that's not good enough. But if you look deeper, you see that Derek Brooks played most of the season with a sprained foot. Warren Sapp played the entire season with a torn rotator cuff, and both of those guys, their roommates on the road, they swore this defense is going to be better this season because they're healthy.
McAllister on first down, cut away from Lynch, and that is upended at the 12-yard line by Kelly after a gain of 3, setting up second down and 7.
Kenny, we'll go one play back because of the game break there. We'll take a look at the penalty on Derek Brooks so you get to see exactly what happened. Joe Horn just barely out of bounds, but Brooks does hit him when he is on the white.
Saints opening drive of the game. They are on the 11-yard line of the Buccaneers. 2nd and 6. Brooks can't find anyone. Takes a hit and throws it away. Simeon Rice.
Remember we asked John Gruden yesterday, we said, were there any surprises when you came to Tampa Bay? And he said, yeah, I knew Simeon Rice was fast, but I didn't know he was that fast. He's real fast. And that's what Rice used on that play, the speed to the outside. It's a big matchup. Here he is here. Big matchup between he and Kyle Turley all day long. Turley, Saints right tackle last year. They lost Willie Rowe from free agency, slid Turley over, but Turley played left tackle in college.
Tim, the Saints 3 for 3 on third down plays. Third down and 6. Brooks takes off and is cut down at the 10-yard line after a gain of just 1 by Rondé Barber.
Again, Kenny, it's a defense that does the extra things. Hey, Rondé Barber is a cornerback. Did you see the way he came up and filled, and he just stuffs Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks, known for his running abilities, known for his, making people miss in the open field, being a strong runner, and Barber just hammers him.
A 28-yard attempt for the former Buccaneer, 13-year veteran John Carney, and he connects.
That's a pretty good drive for the New Orleans Saints. After that 4-game slide last season, to come here to Tampa Bay's home against this vaunted defense and drive right down first series and score 3 points.
And they took up nearly 7 minutes on the clock. As we welcome those of you who have been watching the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tennessee Titans, a 3-point victory for the Eagles. Kenny Albert, Tim Green from Tampa. A 13-play drive for the New Orleans Saints. And John Carney connected on a 28-yard field goal after the Saints moved downfield. Successful on 3 of 4 third down plays.
Yeah, and Aaron Brooks looked sharp. He was 5 for 7, and he spread the ball around to 4 different receivers. Joe Horn got 2 of those catches.
We welcome those of you who have been watching the Vikings and the Bears from Champaign, Illinois.
What a huge win for Minnesota's new head coach, Mike Tice, to be able to beat last year's division champion Chicago Bears.
Bears won 13 games last season.
A lot of people felt that when Dennis Green left the Minnesota Vikings, he was leaving with the cupboards bare, and that Mike Tice really didn't have a whole lot to work with. But I think anytime you have a quarterback like Dante Culpepper and a receiver like Randy Moss, the cupboard is far from bare.
So a huge road victory this afternoon for the Vikings in Champaign. Aaron Stecker, number 27, along with Dwight Smith back deep for the Bucs. It's Stecker from the 8-yard line. Buccaneers have never returned a kickoff for a touchdown. Out to the 33-yard line, a 25-yard return. Ken Irvin made the tackle. Brad Johnson has led 3 different teams to the playoffs, including the Buccaneers last season, when he set team records for attempts, completions, and completion percentage. 11th NFL season out of Florida State. Buccaneers start from the 33-yard line, 1st and 10. 4 wide receivers set for the Bucs on 1st down. They keep it on the ground. Michael Pittman, first carry as a Buck, the longtime Arizona Cardinal, and he gains 7 yards out to the 40. Sammy Knight made the tackle for the Saints. A revamped offensive line. The center, Jeff Christie, the only returning starter. Cornell Green, the right tackle, making his first NFL start. Pittman with Allstott in the backfield. Keyshawn Johnson with the former Jaguar McCardell, and the new tight end is the former Indianapolis Colt, Ken Dilger. It's Pittman again, and he's chased down from behind by Charlie Clemens, a loss of 1 on the play.
Kenny, you talked about the Bucs offensive line and the inexperience they have on the right side, and Cozy Coleman, who we showed as a starter, is not. He's hurt. Todd Washington is the starter. He's had 1 start in the NFL, and then Cornell Green playing right tackle, replacing last year's first-round draft choice, Kenyatta Walker. He has never started a game in the National Football League, so that's a big concern. And still, the Bucs came out on their first 2 plays. They lined up in the eye, and they tried to ram it down the Saints' throat.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down and 4. Johnson rolling right, looking at the marker, dives across, and looks to have the first down.
That's how you get 3 out of 3 teams to the playoffs.
Darren Smith made the stop for the Saints, who were middle of the pack defensively last year. Jackson and Hand, 2 big boys in the middle, both over 300 pounds up front.
They're way over 300.
Yep. Clemens, 13.5 sacks last season for the Saints, the middle linebacker. And in the secondary, Thomas and Hawthorne, the corners, and a couple of hard-hitting safeties in Knight and Bellamy.
And I think today, Brad Johnson wants to test those New Orleans Saints corners, especially Michael Hawthorne, number 36.
First and 10 from the 43-yard line. As Johnson is taken down, driven down by the combination of Sammy Knight and Darren Howard.
Well, you said hard hitting, and that's what Sammy Knight is. Look at the aggressiveness. We talked about Jim Haslett's team over the last 2 seasons having more sacks than anyone in the NFL. Watch Sammy Knight. Here he comes. He's the safety on the safety blitz. Another sack for Haslett's defense, and Haslett is so good at scheming these blitzes. And you know, as John Gruden is known for his X's and O's capabilities for the offensive side of the ball, Jim Haslett has got to be one of the better minds on the defensive side.
Saints most sacks in the NFL, Tim, over the last 2 seasons combined. Short drop on 3rd and 17. Keyshawn Johnson bobbled it and could not hold on. Michael Hawthorne on the coverage for New Orleans.
Keyshawn Johnson had a tough job on that because the Saints were in cover 2, and 2 means they're 2 safeties deep here. And what that enables the cornerback to do is come up and really challenge Keyshawn Johnson, really press, so he doesn't have to worry about getting beat deep. And you saw where Hawthorne was. He was up tight on him because he knew he had this man right behind him to help out. That's cover 2.
3 wide receivers set, 3rd down and 17. Johnson under pressure again.
Oh, Darren Smith made such a great play on that. He had a hold of Michael Pittman and really could have maybe gotten a penalty on it. But he played it. He read the screen right away. Watch Darren Smith, number 54. Look at him here. He's right there on Pittman. See it? He senses it. Watch what he does. He says, oh, no, there's the screen. There's the man who's going to get it. I'm going to mess this whole play up, and that's exactly what he did. What did Rick Venturi, the defensive coordinator, say? He said, call him the glue. Smith is our glue.
The glue of the defense.
NBA off the field and an NBA on the field.
Caught down at the 27-yard line. 37-yard kick by Tom Tupa, veteran punter.
See some of the early game headliners. How about this guy here, Kelly Holcomb? He was an NFL Europe guy. I remember watching play in Barcelona, starting for injured Tim Couch today. He had a big day. Look at the Redskins. Florida fans will be happy to see Steve Spurrier still knows how to chalk up not only the yards but the points.
Shane
Matthews, his Florida quarterback, having a big day.
Passed for 342 yards in the win over the Arizona Cardinals. Saints back to work from their own 27-yard line. As the pass is caught by the fullback, Terrell Smith, out at the 29-yard line for a gain of 2. Brian Kelly made the tackle. And Tim, the Atlanta Falcons and Green Bay Packers are in overtime up at Lambeau. Michael Vick, outstanding first half. He was perfect, 10 for 10 in the first half up in Green Bay, where the Falcons won last year.
Well, Michael Vick is an incredible athlete, an incredible quarterback. He can run, he can hurt you on the ground, he's got a laser arm, and he's really picked up that offense nicely. Wow. Rondé Barber again.
That loss of 4 on the handoff to Deuce McAllister.
Last time these two teams played, Rondé Barber had 3 interceptions. Big game for him, and really the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trounced the Saints last season. They were ahead 30-0 in that victory at the half, and Rondé Barber was a big reason for it, and this is the second big play we've seen him make today. In the run game, no less. One on the quarterback draw where he stopped Aaron Brooks, forced the Saints to kick a field goal, and then that one right there.
4 wide receivers, 3rd down and 11 for the Saints. Brooks complete, close to the marker, as the pass was caught by Jake Reed. Sheldon Quarles okay the tackle.
I've got to tell you, a lot of people said, well, how are the Saints going to be up front without Willie Rowe and without Chris Naoli? On that play there, watch these guys up front. Look at the pocket that they give Aaron Brooks. Look how well protected Aaron Brooks is. And those are some good players. You got McFarland, you got Rice, you got Sapp. Some big name, big time players. Great protection by that Saints O-line.
From the 38-yard line on 1st down, Brooks steps up and throws, and it's nearly picked off by Rondé Barber.
Barber is just so good, and his reactions are so good, and his quickness. You see why the man is a Pro Bowl cornerback.
College teammate of Aaron Brooks with the Virginia Cavaliers. And as you mentioned, he intercepted Brooks 3 times last December. 2nd and 10 from the 38. Brooks complete this time. Joe Horn looks to have another Saints 1st down, a gain of 11. We talked to Joe Horn yesterday about Aaron Brooks. He says Brooks has become more of a vocal leader, plus he's rich. 6-year contract extension signed yesterday.
$5 million signing bonus, and Aaron told us that he was going to finally buy a house and stop renting.
Aaron Brooks, a cousin of Atlanta Falcons quarterback Michael Vick. Has the Saints on the move once again. Late 1st quarter, and this time forced to throw it away.
Same thing with the zone blitz. Greg Spires drops back into coverage, and Aaron Brooks tries to find Jake Reed. But that was a blitz by the Tampa Bay defense that really came late. See how late that developed? John Lynch came all the way from center field, and I think it was a poorly timed blitz. I think it took him too long to get there. You want to disguise your blitzes, but sometimes you can out trick yourself. See here, if he's coming now, well, he was just showing it. Brooks is changing it off. There you go.
And with the play clock winding down,
that's the game within the game.
Brooks forced to call timeout.
Lynch shows blitz. Brooks tries to change the play. Lynch moves back. Brooks runs out of time.
So Brooks over to chat with head coach Jim Haslett.
It was interesting with all the focus of John Gruden and the Tampa Bay offense, the challenge that he issued to his defense. And he said, hey, you guys have done a great job. And he said, I have so much respect for Tony Dungy and what he did. And you guys have been like high jumpers jumping 7 feet, and it's been awesome. But now I want you to jump 7-3. Get that much better. Don't stop trying to be better just because you have led this team.
Gruden told us Buccaneers defense has a tremendous work ethic, great amount of pride, and said the practices have been very intense, the offense up against the defense.
A lot of competition there in practice, a lot of challenges back and forth, making practices extremely physical. Interestingly, the Saints, who felt they had some divisiveness in their locker room last season, went the opposite way this preseason. They tried to be more of a whole unit.
3 wide receivers, 2nd and 10 for the Saints following the timeout as Brooks hits a wide open Joe Horn for another first down. Well, we mentioned the Packers and the Falcons were in overtime. Let's check in with JB to find out what happened.
20-10, Packers trail by 11 at the halftime. They fought it to overtime, winning it on this 34-yard field goal by Ryan Longwell. Packers escape with the victory. Back to Kenny and Tim.
All right, thanks very much, JB. So the Packers win it in overtime, 37-34 over the Atlanta Falcons. Hard luck loss for Dan Reeves and the Falcons. From the 31, the quick slant is caught by the rookie out of Tennessee, Dante Stallworth.
And what we're seeing right now is Aaron Brooks and the Saints offense just going to work on the perimeter of this Tampa Bay defense, trying to spread them out, trying to open them up, trying to get them start thinking about passing to the outside. Joe Horn with the first down catch on the play before this. Now a nice pickup, 5 yards on first down.
We welcome those of you who have been watching the Green Bay Packers and the Atlanta Falcons. Saints with a 3-0 lead over the Buccaneers, and on the move here in Tampa on 2nd and 5. The handoff. Deuce McAllister looks to turn the corner and is forced out of bounds at the 23-yard line by Brian Kelly after a gain of 2.
Someone ran right out of their shoe. Brian Kelly.
Big shoes to fill with Donnie Abraham, now a New York Jet.
And it was interesting talking with Joe Horn yesterday, the Saints receiver, and he felt like he could get inside Brian Kelly's head. He felt like he could take advantage of Brian Kelly's desire to come out and prove himself. Joe Horn with 4 catches today already, 49 yards. He's on Dwight Smith now, and they're going to throw to him.
Pass off the fingertips of Stallworth.
Dwight Smith did a nice job on that play. He kept good position. Stayed right between Joe Horn and the quarterback. And he was isolated. He was alone on the receiver. That was total man-to-man coverage. And you're covering a Pro Bowl wide receiver.
So John Carney, who hit from 28 yards earlier, will now attempt a 41-yard field goal. Jake Delhomme, backup quarterback, is the Saints holder. From 41, Carney's kick is good. He is down 2 for 2. So 2 offensive drives for the Saints here in this first quarter. 2 field goals for John Carney. 6-0. Saints over the Bucs.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Saints out to a 6-0 lead over the Buccaneers. John Carney has hit from 28 and 41 yards out for New Orleans. With 19 seconds remaining in quarter number 1, Aaron Stecker is back deep along with Dwight Smith. And this is Stecker. Decker. Tackled at the 27-yard line by Travis Carroll, 25 yards on the return. Buccaneers and Brad Johnson back on offense in a moment. New Orleans Saints off to a terrific start offensively.
Yeah, incredible. 2 drives, 2 field goals. And Tampa Bay's retooled offense has shown us nothing. Really didn't show much in the preseason, but you write that off to just the preseason.
Buccaneers starters scored only 1 touchdown in 10 possessions during the preseason. 1 touchdown and 1 field goal. The toss to Pittman.
There you go.
First down and more. Michael Pittman out to the 48-yard line. A gain of 21 yards.
We saw this play over the last 2 days in practice from Tampa Bay. They line up 3 wide receivers. Watch Keyshawn Johnson. He comes here. Then you've got 1, 2, 3 receivers to block 3 defensive backs, and they do a heck of a job blocking. Look at that. Jaravicius gets a block. Keyshawn gets a block, and that thing opens up like the Red Sea for Mike Pittman.
So a 21-yard pickup for Pittman on the final play of the first quarter from Tampa. Impressive numbers for Aaron Brooks, 10 of 15, as he led 2 drives, which culminated in field goals. Second quarter in Tampa. 1st and 10 Buccaneers from their own 48-yard line. Johnson completes his first pass of the day. Brad Johnson to Keyshawn Johnson for a gain of 14 yards.
Keyshawn and Jaravicius are in a slot together, and they run right through into the zone. Nice protection here by the Tampa Bay offensive line. Watch Johnson. See, he's looking this way. He looks the defense off. He comes back. He sees Keyshawn in the zone, and he finds him.
Keyshawn Johnson, 106 receptions a year ago, 4th in the NFL. First down from the Saints' 38-yard line. Johnson pump fakes again, now throws, and he was looking for Keenan McCardell, who could not hold on Darren Smith on the coverage for the Saints.
Nice protection for Brad Johnson on that play. And now what we're seeing is the Tampa Bay offense is starting to come to life in the passing game. On the other side of the ball, Aaron Brooks has been fantastic. I mean, he's completed 67% of his passes, and he's been 67% on 3rd down, and that's why they've been able to keep those drives alive.
Brooks 10 of 15 in the first quarter for the Saints, as John Carney hit on a pair of first quarter field goals. Now the Buccaneers on the move. The toss to Michael Pittman, looks to cut it back inside and works his way down to the 33-yard line. Gain of 4. Darren Smith again on the stop.
You know, even John Lynch, the safety for the Saints, said, yeah, I really want to see Pittman. Everyone wants to see what all the excitement or all the talk about Michael Pittman was. You know, if you look at him last season with Arizona, he was solid, 3.5-yard average carry. But I tell you what, Michael Pittman is such a strong and violent runner that oftentimes he hurts himself. He runs so hard. So they're excited about what he can do. And if he could stay healthy, I think he could really fill the bill at tailback.
Johnson on 3rd and 6, incomplete, off the hand of the former New York Giant, Joe Jaravicius.
Wow, and Brad Johnson was so lucky that Ken Irvin wasn't looking, because he threw the ball right past Ken Irvin. Irvin pulled off, and that ball went right past him.
Brad Johnson talking about it with backup Rob Johnson. Here's Martin Gramatica out to attempt a 52-yard field goal. His career long is 55. Hit from 49 last season. Tom Tupa is the holder. Gramatica from 52 just gets it through. The patented Gramatica family celebration.
Say, he better make sure he doesn't hurt himself.
Fox This NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By Miller Lite, life is best told at a place called Miller Time. And by DirecTV, movies, music, and exclusive sports from the leader in digital satellite entertainment.
90-degree afternoon in Tampa with the Saints on top by a field goal. Michael Lewis down to a knee in the end zone, so the Saints will start from their own 20-yard line. When we return here in Tampa, it's the Saints over the Bucs, 6-3. Early second quarter on kickoff weekend here in Tampa. With the Buccaneers offense taking a breather, Saints go back to work against Warren Sapp and the Tampa Bay defense from their own 20-yard line. Aaron Brooks, 10 of 15 in the air in the first quarter. Hands it off to McAllister. This McAllister averaging only 2 yards a carry, gains 4 on first down. Alshirman Singleton and Derek Brooks combining to make the stop.
Well, right now, Tampa Bay's defense, they're basically saying, you're going to have to throw the football to beat us. And Aaron Brooks has done a great job throwing the ball, and they've controlled it, but most of that has been through the air. Because Deuce McAllister's only got 2.4 yards a carry right now. The Tampa Bay defense has shut down the run. But, hey, they forced him to go to the pass. The pass is working for Brooks.
He's hit Joe Horn 4 times. Dante Stallworth, 2 receptions. Brooks has found 6 different receivers. The toss to McAllister. Avoids Lynch. Still on his feet and picks up the first down. His most impressive run today.
That was almost the same play that was so successful for Tampa Bay. Only Tampa Bay motioned Keyshawn Johnson into it, right? Where they had the 3 guys in the wide receiver position, this bunch here, and then they all scatter and block. Nice blocking there, but really it's McAllister's running through his spin move on John Lynch that makes this a very successful run play. How many times do you see somebody run through John Lynch?
Not very often. McAllister gained 8 and a Saints first down.
Now they're showing the same formation. See, it's that same bunch. Now they're probably going to want to pass out of it.
Nope, it's the toss to McAllister. Follows the bunch to the right side.
They should have passed out.
Gains 3 yards out to the 35.
I mean, they ran it to the left, and I just think Tampa Bay's too smart of a defense. You know, I think that those guys are too good to have that play work on them one time and then not just shut it down the next time.
And they've seen that same play in practice.
Yeah, because their offense has been running it. Good point. Well, they would have shut it down the first time, but again, McAllister, he ran right through John Lynch.
Play clock winding down. Brooks on 2nd and 6. Catch is made by 4 in his 5th of the game. Gain of just 2. Brian Kelly was right there. 3rd down and 4 coming up. And the Saints have excelled today on 3rd downs. They are 4 for 6.
Well, Aaron Brooks hasn't had a heck of a lot of pressure on him today. I think his offensive line has done a nice job. Another way to give your offensive line a break and make sure there's pressure is do a 3-step drop, like on that play there. But even on the 5 steps, this offensive line for the Saints has done a nice job today.
Empty backfield on 3rd down. Brooks saw the pressure coming and threw it away.
Overload blitz. They were all over Aaron Brooks. They did not give him time at all. It's actually Ellis Wims, backup defensive end. It's the first time we've seen the Saints have to punt.
First NFL punt for Dirk Johnson, signed yesterday to replace the injured Toby Goen. Carl Williams on the return after the 24-yard line. The deep snapper, Kevin Hauser, made the tackle, a 17-yard return. NFL Sunday returns next week when J.B. Terry and Howie welcome special guest John Elway. The future Hall of Famer will tell our guys who he thinks are the elite quarterbacks in the game today, and he will help break down next week's games. Fox NFL Sunday next week at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
And wait till you see. We'll show you maybe after one of these plays. We'll show you the special guests they had in today's show. 3 of them.
Just in case you missed it. Buccaneers start from the 24-yard line. Johnson's pass complete on the far side, a gain of 5.
Well, if you missed it, we'll give you a little show of what happened this week. There's John Madden and
Help me out.
Dennis Miller, and then Terry Bradshaw.
You want to be in your house?
Who's missing you boys more than me?
It's great to be here looking at you.
Here's
Jimmy Johnson
what a
in
hot
trouble.
route or a blitz control route is,
Now,
Coach.
Angel Cordero's out on the corner. JB's at safety, and I'll be the linebacker.
If you have any questions or concerns, please call Terry Bradshaw at home. His number is 631-555-EALD.
Did you get that number, Tim?
Well, no, but I got that. That was what I was talking about earlier. Remember when they were on the football field and they were talking about the hot route? And they went through that whole thing, and they talked about how Steve Spurrier's offense doesn't have the receivers running the hot route after they read the blitz, but it didn't bother them much today, did it? Over 400 yards passing.
Didn't stop Shane Matthews and company.
Or over 400 yards of offense, and they won their opener against the Arizona Cardinals.
3rd down and 2 for the Buccaneers. Johnson incomplete. He was looking for the tight end. Cannon Dilger took a hit from the former Raider, Brady Jackson, as we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tim, Brian Greasy of Denver doing his best to get the confidence of his teammates, getting a good start here, hooking up with Rod Smith for a 7-yard strike to score now 10 for the Broncos. And Tim Green, how he acknowledges now Michael Vick, the real deal. Back to Kenny.
All right. Thanks, JB. Hey, great interview with Steve Spurrier and you, JB. I loved it, as always.
Punt comes down at the 18-yard line to Michael Lewis, avoided the first tackler. Tiptoes down the sidelines, and a penalty flag, a late hit by the Buccaneers after Lewis had already stepped out. 18-yard return following the 50-yard punt by Tupa. Buccaneers, and there's Warren Sapp arguing. He felt Lewis was not yet out of bounds. Derek Brooks already flagged for a personal foul earlier on a late hit along the sidelines. Here's referee Dick
There's no foul on the play. They're picking the flag up. The runner still had the foot inbound, and the defender had committed himself.
I guess Sapp talked him out of it.
Yeah, maybe he'll be an attorney when he's finished playing football.
Saints will go to work from their own 36-yard line following the punt, leading the Buccaneers 6-3. Sloan shifting. Brooks fires on first down, and it's caught in Buccaneers territory. 6th catch today for Joe Horn, a gain of 16 yards.
Yeah, Saints now are in just a regular formation. 2 backs, 1 tight end, and then you've got a situation up here. Again, this is cover 2. The cornerback's underneath, the safety is over the top. And Joe Horn just finds the soft spot in the zone. He finds the opening between the short coverage and the deep coverage. See it right there? That's a great shot of it. John Lynch behind, Brian Kelly in front, and Horn just finds the space. That's a veteran Pro Bowl receiver.
And Horn has been to the last 2 Pro Bowls. McAllister took a hard hit from Sheldon Quarles after a gain of just 2.
I liked what John Lynch told us about Sheldon Quarles. He said, Quarles in the middle brings us back to the Hardy Nickerson days because he is such a physical presence, and he really brings a pop, and you could see it on that play right there.
Midway through the second quarter from Tampa. 3 wide receivers for the Saints on 2nd and 8. Off the play fake, Brooks puts a soft touch on it as he makes the connection with McAllister. Chased down by Brian Kelly after a gain of 8.
Everything has been working for the New Orleans Saints. They've been able to run. They've been able to throw. In that play there, just as Warren Sapp gets his hands on Aaron Brooks, there it is, little dump off, little screen pass. So Warren Sapp has got to be frustrated right now. Again, he was hurt all last season. He had the surgery last January to repair the torn rotator cuff. It was a 4-month rehabilitation. He worked his way through it. He said it was the longest 4 months of his life.
Had the surgery January 18th. May 18th was the target date to return, to begin working out, and he kept thinking about that date, May 18th, May 18th. And he said it was the longest offseason of his career.
This defense has been out on the field a long time today. Their offense has not given them any reprieve, and when it's this hot, it's the first game of the season, and the starters didn't play a lot in the regular season.
Saints 4 for 7 today on third down. Third down in inches for New Orleans. Brooks on the keeper. Looks to have the first down.
First down, New Orleans.
So the Saints able to move the chains. Aaron Brooks, guy who received that 6-year contract extension yesterday, and Saints have a lot of confidence. His teammates voted him offensive captain.
Yeah, and he's shown great poise here today. And he's kept the ball. They've kept the drives alive. They've used up a lot. Look at the disparity there. Look at that, 16 minutes, and then the Tampa Bay offense only 6:43, and that's a huge inequity, and that gets these guys tired out.
McAllister up the middle. Lynch on the tackle. A gain of 5 for Deuce McAllister.
There's the Fox box right there, Kenny. Seattle, Oakland.
Seattle to 7. Back in the NFC this year, Tim. First time since 1976 when the Buccaneers and Seahawks entered the league together. Bucs were in the AFC that first year. Seahawks in the NFC, and then they flip-flopped. And now the Seahawks back in the NFC West.
I agree with Howie Long. That's a tough deal for the Seahawks because they've got to play the Rams and the 49ers twice. Aaron Brooks changing the play.
Hand off to McAllister, and he's wrapped up by Alsherman Singleton. No gain on the play.
Tackle by number 51, Alsherman Singleton.
Even though it was not a successful play, you got to see Aaron Brooks and the audible capabilities that he has this year. Last year was his first, full year as the starter. There he is changing the play. If he sees something this season, he's going to get to change it off. He doesn't like the play, he changes it at the line of scrimmage. And that's part of the development of Aaron Brooks as a quarterback.
Third down and 5. Play action. Brooks fires downfield and finds his man at the 2-yard line. The tight end, Boo Williams.
Well, Kenny, part of that.
And it's a touchdown. A late signal. He was not down by a Buccaneer, and he rolls into the end zone.
This thing starts with the Saints offensive line. Aaron Brooks stood back there forever. He got to see the whole field and see it 2 or 3 times. Remember, this defensive front has got to be worn out. Look at this pocket. Look at the time he has. And so he finally sees Boo Williams. You see Williams releasing downfield. Here he is right here. And we'll see if he's touched. No, he is not touched by John Lynch. So he is not down. Good call by the officials. And this has got to be a shocker to Tampa Bay fans who expected a revived offense from the Bucs. The revived offense belongs to the Saints.
Tight end Boo Williams on the receiving end of the 32-yard touchdown strike from Aaron Brooks, who was perfect, 3 for 3 on the drive.
Yeah, Brooks has looked outstanding, and his offensive line has helped him to look outstanding because they have done a really excellent job of protecting Aaron Brooks. See Jerry Fontenot, the center there. It's Fontenot.
Remember, they lost 2 big names, Chris Naoli and Willie Rofe, during the offseason. But here in Tampa, Saints with a 10-point lead over the Bucs in the second quarter. Dwight Smith brought down at the 38-yard line by Jay Bellamy. A 25-yard return. Bucs will look to get something going on offense when we come back. Not only did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bring in John Gruden, but they look to revamp their offense during the offseason. Michael Pittman coming over from Arizona, Keenan McCardell from Jacksonville, Ken Dilger from Indianapolis. So far today, no catches yet from McCardell, nothing for Dilger. Pittman had the one big run, the 21-yard run, but that has been it. Now the Buccaneers go back to work.
I mean, the Bucs offense so far has looked pathetic, but that could change, in one series, as you know.
Michael Pittman with his first reception for a gain of 5.
I think there was concern on everyone within the Bucs organization about the offense and getting it all together, because they really didn't have all the starters together throughout the preseason. There was a lot of shifting around, a lot of injuries. Wow, that was a heck of a catch.
That's Dilger, his first catch, penalty marker on the field. Gain of 10 from Johnson to Dilger. But it will come back.
Be I saw a chop block on that play against Norman Hand. And I also saw Norman Hand on the ground. And it was LaCharles Bentley, the rookie second-round pick from Ohio State, was the one who chopped him.
Illegal chop block. Number 74 and 77 were involved in one player blocking high and the other player going low. 15-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
I'm on the wrong team. Cornell Green and Todd Washington were the choppers. Forgive me for that one.
And as you talked about earlier, Washington making only his second NFL start. Cornell Green has been around. He spent time with 5 different NFL teams, but this is his first game, first regular season game in the National Football League. 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. Johnson on second and 20 overthrows the intended receiver, Keenan McCardell.
Well, Keenan McCardell got knocked off his route by one of the Saints linebackers. I think it was Charlie Clemens. Watch McCardell. He comes in motion. He's going to come across the middle. There it is right there. You see that knock? That knocks him off the route. And so the pass actually is not overthrown. It's a disruption by Charlie Clemens to break that pass play up.
3 wide receivers, third down and 20. Johnson over the middle, looking for Keyshawn.
Brad Johnson gets hammered again. And they did it with a blitz. We talked about Jim Haslett's blitzing schemes, and Cedric Hodge and Darren Smith, 2 linebackers. Watch it. They're all over Brad Johnson, and he has not had much relief from the pounding of the Saints defense in the passing game today.
Tom Tupa punting from his own 15. Michael Lewis. Lewis across the 35. Penalty marker. As Lewis is taken down following a 14-yard return, a 47-yard punt by Tupa. Some extracurricular activity. as Dick Hantak sorts things out.
Holding during the return, number 37 will penalize 10 yards. It will be a first down.
Steve Gleason, the guilty Saint. It's the Saints by 10 over the Bucs. Buccaneers offense has not yet been able to get on track. Tampa Bay trailing New Orleans late second quarter, 13-3. On the other side, Aaron Brooks, 14 of 20, 143 yards and a touchdown. He's hit 7 different receivers. Joe Horn with 6 receptions. 4 wide receivers set, 1st and 10, 27-yard line. The inside handoff to McAllister. Still on his feet. First down. 14-yard gain for McAllister as we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tampa, Oakland trying to do it nicely in the first half. Hooking up with Charlie Garner is Rich Gannon. This will be Garner's 2nd touchdown of the day. 1 running, this one by the air. 2nd touchdown of the day, 21-7, Oakland on top of Seattle. Back to Kenny and Tim.
All right, JB, so John Gruden's former team with a 2-touchdown lead. They have met twice per season as division rivals in the AFC West. Now an NFC-AFC matchup. They've gotten together in the postseason twice. John Lynch shaken up on the previous play.
Yeah, Deuce McAllister again running through tackles and just looks outstanding. The Saints came out, they spread the Bucs defense, their passing game got going, and now Deuce McAllister is starting to get going on the ground. And we saw at the game break there with JB that John Gruden's old offense, the Oakland Raiders, is looking very good, and his new offense here in Tampa Bay has been a fizzle so far today.
John Howell, number 38, has replaced John Lynch. As we approach the 2-minute warning, here comes the blitz. Brooks moving to his left, and the pass bounced in front of the intended receiver, Dante Stallworth. As Lynch heads to the locker room, we have hit the 2-minute warning here in Tampa. In a surprise, it's the Saints by 10. Well, Tim, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie with scores and highlights from kickoff weekend. The Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated. But Jimmy Johnson, he's on his way back to this state.
He's out of there already. He's ready to get back out on his ship. As Howie Long said, it's not a boat, it's a ship. And then next week, those pregame guys are going to be joined by John Elway. So certainly not a show. If you love football and you like the whole thing, you want to tune into those guys. It's fun, it's funny, and also you get a lot of good football knowledge.
Just Jimmy doesn't like 4 o'clock games. 2nd and 10 for the Saints. 4 wide receivers. Again, the inside handoff to McAllister. Ran into Anthony McFarland. Gain of 4 on the play. Timeout called by Aaron Brooks. Saints use their 2nd timeout.
You see Warren Sapp and there's LaCharles Bentley, the guy I was talking about before. He and Sapp are getting into it. You see, there's Sapp. And LaCharles Bentley, the 2nd-round pick.
Jim Haslett told us yesterday that Brian Cox, who's now a backup linebacker with the Saints.
There he is.
Brian Cox told Haslett that Bentley is already one of the top 5 guards in the NFL. This is his first game.
Incredibly strong. Here you see Jerry Fontenot. He's counseling him a little bit. He's saying, don't let that guy get into your head, rookie. We know you're big. We know you're strong. We know you're tough. They say he's mean, too.
Yeah.
And Haslett said that. Haslett was a mean football player. He played a mean game, and he said Bentley is one of the meaner players that he's seen. Plays a mean, strong game. That's what you have to do if you're going to succeed down there in the trenches, especially with guys like Warren Sapp across from you. You need to play mean.
How about that kind of a compliment from Brian Cox?
That's big. 3rd down, this is where Brooks has been so good. 6 for 9 on 3rd downs today.
Brooks had the pass batted down by Simeon Rice.
Interestingly, Simeon Rice gets this batted pass by coming to the inside. You think about him, you think about him racing to the outside. Here he is on the perimeter here, but he comes underneath. He's in a stunt with Warren Sapp. Sapp does a great job of using up both blockers, Jaycox and Turley. Rice uses the speed underneath.
Second punt of the game by Dirk Johnson was nearly blocked.
What a bounce for Tampa Bay.
A huge Buccaneers bounce. Only a 10-yard punt with the roll.
Better on your plate, better in your mouth, better outside, better in your house.
Sure, Papa John's makes an incredible pizza, but wait until you taste our new Papa's chicken strips. Tender, crispy, all-white meat breast fillets.
Better pizza, Papa John's.
Dirk Johnson, the Saints punter with a 10-yard punt, but he did it under duress. He's probably lucky that he got that ball off at all.
Ranked third in NFL Europe in punting this past summer. Here comes number 51, Alshirman Singleton. Johnson re-signed by the Saints yesterday to replace the injured Toby Goen. Brad Johnson to the near side. Michael Pittman forced out of bounds in Saints territory by Michael Hawthorne after a gain of 7.
And you can feel a little bit of life has been breathed back into this Tampa Bay team. And it started with that special teams play. It was a near block, and so they've got good field position. And now on this first play here, nice connection between Brad Johnson and Michael Pittman, puts it in second and short.
Buccaneers have all 3 of their timeouts with a minute 29 remaining in the first half. From the Saints 49, Johnson scrambling away from pressure. Now fires downfield, but nobody in the vicinity for the Bucs.
Well, John Gruden even told us yesterday, when the Saints come out and they run the 32 dime, all hell breaks loose. Here's 1, 2, 3. There's the 3, and then here's the 2, the 32, and they come on the blitz, and there's a man who comes untouched. And that's the dilemma. They're confusing the blocking schemes, and so Charlie Clemens comes untouched, and Brad Johnson is forced to scramble and throw it away.
Third and 4. Johnson again under pressure, looking for McCardell, and again Johnson was walloped.
They are pounding Brad Johnson. And so that inexperience on the offensive line on that right side is starting to really take its toll on Brad Johnson. Little play action there. And you see he has no time to read anything. He's got just enough time to get rid of the football.
Tom Super punching from his own 40-yard line. Michael Lewis lets it go. And did the Bucs keep it out of the end zone? Yes. Corey Ivy downfield on special teams to bat it back. Tremendous special teams play by Ivy. Well, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB Terry Howie scores and highlights from around the National Football League on kickoff weekend. And the Fox Sports Ticker will bring you up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
Kenny, another big special teams play by Tampa Bay. And that's not for nothing. I know we're at the end of the half, but Tampa Bay still has 3 timeouts. So they've got a very good opportunity right here if their defense can do something aggressive and stop New Orleans to get another shot at putting some points on the board.
Well, we'll learn Corey Ivy some points. The Buccaneers watched the film this week.
And the key was he was in front of the goal line when he grabbed that ball and threw it back. And so he never touched within the goal line before he threw that ball back. Kept it alive.
Saints from their own 2-yard line. McAllister, gain of 2, out to the 4, and Warren Sapp immediately signals timeout with 49 seconds remaining in the first half in Tampa. Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in Tampa. Saints led 6-0 after 1. It's now 13-3 New Orleans, and the tremendous special teams play by the Bucs. Corey Ivy has pinned the Saints deep in their own territory. Buccaneers still with 2 timeouts.
And they'll use them now if they're able to stop the Saints and, again, try to get a few more points on the board before they take it into the locker room at halftime.
Their defense has been on the field for a good portion.
Brooks sees this. He sees man-to-man out there. No, he didn't go to it.
Again, it was McAllister. And again, the Buccaneers call timeout. Saints able to use up only 6 seconds.
Hey, can I write a check for this? I just need to see some ID. Hold that thought. Curtis, hi. Come on.
Okay, so I was in a movie with an extra, Eunice, whose hairdresser, Wayne, attended Sunday school with Father O'Neill, who plays racquetball with Dr. Sanji, who recently removed the appendix of Kim, who dumped you sophomore year. So you see, we're practically brothers.
Tired of looking for ID? Use the Visa Check card. It gets you in, out, and on with life.
I forgot my ID again.
3rd down and 5 upcoming for the Saints if they do not convert. Johnson will have to punt from his end zone. From the 7-yard line, McAllister. And he is hit for a loss. Ellis Wims, number 96, loss of 2. Buccaneers use their 3rd and final timeout.
Well, the defense did its part on this series. The special teams set it up by pinning New Orleans down with their back to their own goal line. And then the defense does what they have to do. 3 and out. They use all their 3 timeouts to stop the clock. There you see Anthony McFarland had the initial penetration, and then Wins finishes them off.
So Dirk Johnson, the rookie, signed yesterday, his first NFL game. Yeah. His first punt in was 55 yards. His last one was 10.
Yeah, right. And when he was under pressure and they came with a block, he only kicked it 10. You better believe they're probably going to come all out again. And I see Tiki Barber is coming in. Look, there's Barber coming in from the outside.
Johnson from the end zone gets it away. Rests on the 39-yard line. Nobody's touched it yet. 34-yard punt. So the Buccaneers, with no timeouts, 25 seconds with a chance to put up some points before the half.
Well, Brad Johnson has struggled today. He's only completed 4 out of 13 passes. They've been abysmal on 3rd down, only 1 out of 6. That's 17%. And the run game, but for the 21-yard run by Michael Pittman, hasn't been much better. But again, to remind people that haven't been seeing the whole thing, Johnson has been under a tremendous amount of pressure. The Saints' defensive front and linebackers, and they're blitzing. They have hammered Brad Johnson.
He has completed only 1 pass to a wide receiver. Johnson again under pressure. Penalty marker in the defensive secondary as Johnson was driven down by Norman Hand.
Really, when you see all this pressure Brad Johnson's under, you get to see the only
defense, number 36, 5-yard penalty.
Michael Hawthorne. You get to see what I think is the only weakness in his game, and that's mobility. Because Brad Johnson's got a strong arm. Here's Hawthorne with the penalty. There's that hand right in the face there, and that's illegal. But back to Brad Johnson. I mean, he's got the strong arm. He reads the defense as well. He sees it well, but he's not an Aaron Brooks. He's not an extremely, a Jeff Garcia. He's not extremely mobile.
Shovel pass, incomplete. Looking for Michael Pittman. Now with the acquisition of Rob Johnson and Sean King is back, there was some thought that there might be a quarterback controversy here in Tampa, but John Gruden told us that was never the case.
No, Brad Johnson had the job all along, and he never did anything to lose it. And I've got to tell you that today, this is not Brad Johnson's fault. I mean, the offensive line has not given him any protection. The receivers have not, been blazing wide open. This whole thing is a mess.
2nd and 10. Here come the Saints. Another flag. This one could be holding on the Bucs.
Heck, you've got to beat the blitz, and Tampa Bay has not beaten the blitz. They've just not done it. Almost every time the Saints blitz, they're successful at it. Now, Johnson is too much of a veteran to be flustered by it, but he can't be effective.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat down. 2nd down.
That's the center, Jeff Christie.
Yeah. And Kenny, the only way you beat the blitz is with some quick slant patterns, some quick patterns to your wide receivers. Or sometimes you can beat it with a screen pass. Sometimes you can beat it with an outside run game, but I think you're going to have to see Brad Johnson with some quick passes to his wide receivers.
Johnson to the sidelines. McCardell.
What a thing of beauty that was.
Made the catch at the 29.
That's why they paid Keenan McCardell the big dollars in free agency to come here, to make a play like this. Notice what Johnson had on that play, Kenny. What did he have? He had time. And so it's a well-thrown ball. No one can catch it but McCardell. McCardell did a beautiful job of pulling it in.
His first catch as a Buck. That penalty had pushed the Bucs out of field goal range. Now they are back in range. 46-yard attempt for Gramatica to hit for 52 earlier, and it's blocked by Darren Howard. Darren Howard, native of nearby St. Petersburg, Florida, blocks the field goal attempt. And that is how the first half will end here in Tampa, with the Saints leading the Buccaneers. This is the only touchdown, 32 yards, Aaron Brooks to Boo Williams. Halftime in Tampa, where the New Orleans Saints lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by the score of 13-3. As we welcome you back, Kenny Albert, with Tim Green. Tim, we know what the Buccaneers defense has done over the last 5 years, but how about the New Orleans Saints defense in the first half?
Well, we talked about it right from the beginning. We said if Tampa Bay can't get a run game going and they're in predictable passing situations, they're going to be in trouble. Saints has more quarterback sacks over the last 2 years than any other defense. They have pounded Brad Johnson today. Johnson trying to run this new West Coast offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. John Gruden's innovative offense, and you can see the reason why right here. It's not really been Brad Johnson's fault, folks. He has not had time to do a doggone thing. They have been after him all day long, and they pounded him. You see there, sacked only once, but he's been hit 8 times. He's been hurried 10 times. It has been an ugly afternoon.
And Tim, our Chip Carter caught up moments ago with Buccaneers head coach John Gruden.
Thanks a lot, guys. Coach, what are you going to do in the second half to try and give Brad Johnson some time to work, get him out of that Saints pass rush?
Well, we can't keep everybody in. Some guys got to run patterns. They're only rushing 4 majority of the time. We just got to do a better job delivering on our pickups, and it all starts here with this first drive.
Defensively, the Saints have been able to convert third downs in the first half.
That's been a part of the problem. We've not been able to get the ball back, and when we do, it's a long time in between series. We just got to come out and play Buccaneer football a hell of a lot better in the second half.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Back upstairs to Kenny, guys.
All right, thanks very much, Chip. John Gruden, 4-year head coach with the Oakland Raiders.
And Gruden raises a good point, Kenny. As bad as his team has been on third down offense is as good as the Saints have been, and Aaron Brooks converting third downs and keeping his offense on the field.
John Carney kicking off to begin this second half. From the 10-yard line, Aaron Stecker. Stecker across the 40. And he's forced out of bounds by the kicker, Carney. And an altercation back at the 25-yard line. Fred McAfee, number 25, involved for the Saints. Their special teams captain, a 37-yard return by Stecker as we check out the first half numbers.
And you can see all the offense really has been New Orleans, 203 total yards. And then here's third down. And whenever you have that kind of third down conversion, you get that kind of possession, time of possession. And this is really what wears out that Tampa Bay defense. So they have been out on the field way, way too long in the first half.
Excellent field position. Buccaneers start from the 46-yard line. This is Mike Allstott. His first carry gains 4 yards. Charlie Clemens made the tackle.
Maybe this is what John Gruden meant when he said, we've got to come out and play Bucs football. You know, and when you think of Bucs football, you think of toughness, you think of in your face, coming right at you. And that's the way to do it with Mike Allstott and his power out of the backfield.
Allstott has gone to the last 5 Pro Bowls from the fullback position.
Now he's at tailback. Allstott's at tailback. And they've got Yoder, who's a tight end playing fullback.
And the pass is caught by Todd Yoder. Caught only 4 passes last year, gain of 10, and a Buccaneers first down.
And now we're seeing innovation, right? I mean, this is, and it's not innovation on the perimeters with the wide receivers. It's an inside game innovation. So run Allstott straight at you, and then come in and put Yoder as the fullback, Allstott as the tailback, and sneak Yoder out. You know, who'd think that Todd Yoder is going to be your target when you've got McCardell and Keyshawn Johnson?
Now Allstott lined up in front of Pittman in the backfield, and with Allstott leading the way, Pittman taken down for a loss of a yard. Willie Whitehead, Brady Jackson in on the stop.
Well, another 0-yard play for the Tampa Bay offense. And you look at this, 22 plays in the first half, 12 of them were for 0 or loss of yards. So really almost moving backwards.
Not what John Gruden had in mind. Off the play fake, Johnson to Keyshawn Johnson, wide open. Inside the 10, dragged out of bounds at the 5, a 38-yard pass play.
There you get to see a little bit of what Brad Johnson can do when he has some time. Keyshawn comes all the way across the field. He sees the zone. He gets into the soft spot of the zone. And again, Brad Johnson had time on that play. No one was chasing him. No one was hitting him. And he's got the arm. He's got the vision. And it's the first, well, maybe the second exciting offensive play for Tampa Bay. The first was Pittman 21-yard run in the first half.
Buccaneers in the red zone. Brad Johnson calls timeout with the play clock winding down. Following the 38-yard hookup from Brad Johnson to Keyshawn Johnson, Buccaneers have first and goal on the Saints' 5-yard line.
And I think that the play that got him here is the thing that Tampa Bay fans and really people around the league expected to see a heck of a lot more of. Is Keyshawn Johnson, getting into the heart of a defense, and Brad Johnson delivering the ball for a big play.
It's the first time the Buccaneers have reached the red zone today. on this opening possession of the second half. Buccaneers trailing the New Orleans Saints by 10. Their deepest penetration in the first half, Tim, was the Saints' 28-yard line. First and goal from the 5. Jameel Cook in the backfield with Allstott. Two fullbacks. The handoff goes to Allstott up the gut for a gain of 1 down to the 4.
The ball carrier.
Well, Kenny, here comes Keyshawn Johnson in, and last season, remarkably, even though Johnson had over 100 receptions, this was his only touchdown reception of the season. And since it was his only one, we'll show it twice.
That's incredible. Only 1 touchdown reception, 106 catches.
He's out on the end now with Fred Thomas locked up on him.
Brad Johnson to the end zone. Touchdown! Keenan McCardell, his first touchdown as a Buccaneer.
That's spreading the ball around. Think about it. Allstott, Yoder, Pittman, Johnson, Allstott, McCardell.
And what was John Gruden known for at Oakland? Balanced offense.
Move it around. Make 5 eligible receivers on every play. Whoa, that was partially blocked, but it's still good, the extra point.
So the Buccaneers are within 3. Brad Johnson to Keenan McCardell from 4 yards out.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by GMC. From professional-grade people come professional-grade SUVs.
I don't want to be accused.
Back in Tampa, Buccaneers are within 3. Martin Gramatica shaken up during the extra point attempt just moments ago as number 22, Fred Thomas, got a piece of Gramatica.
See how Gramatica kicks off. It looked like it did him some good.
Kickoff taken by Michael Lewis. And a terrific special teams play. Dwight Smith.
Tampa
return of only 15.
Looks like a new team. Tampa Bay looks like a different team. Brad Johnson, a different quarterback. 3 for 3 on that drive. That's what he can do when he doesn't have pressure all over him.
And now the Buccaneers defense will look to pick up where the offense left off. Saints from their own 18-yard line. Play action. Brooks dumps it off to the fullback, Terrell Smith. And he is met by a swarm of Buccaneer defenders. A gain of just 2.
Well, the tide has definitely turned here so far. Tampa Bay's offense came out. They look absolutely like a new team. And now the defense, Kenny, we talked about the defense being worn down in the first half. 20 minutes of possession for the New Orleans offense, but they're rested now. They got the rest at halftime, and then their offense had a long drive here to start this thing out.
Here's McAllister. And he's run down. Shelton Quarles.
They're playing like they're fresh, aren't they? I imagine the drinks, maybe a couple IVs at halftime, and I would suspect a tongue lashing from head coach John Gruden. Look at the pressure. Watch it here. All up and down the line, and Shelton Quarles leading the charge. Tampa Bay's defense starting to do their part, but third down is where the defense has struggled, and third down is where in the first half Aaron Brooks was at his best.
The Saints 6 of 11 on third down. Brooks complete. First down. Dante Stallworth out to the 33-yard line. Dexter Jackson made the tackle. after a gain of 13.
And they beat the blitz, Kenny. Tampa Bay came with the blitz. Remember we talked about beating the blitz? And watch Stallworth. He just breaks to the inside. They know there's a blitz, so they know there's no one in those underneath zones. And that's what you have to do. The receiver has to break to the inside. The quarterback has to get that ball off before the blitz is in his face.
Third catch of the day for Stallworth. Saints continue to press on third down. Brooks complete. Joe Horn out at the Buccaneers 41. A 26-yard pass play.
A well-thrown ball by Aaron Brooks. And you know, you just watched Joe Horn going to work on Brian Kelly. He gets behind him. He separates from him. And then Brooks just lays that ball in over the top of the cornerback. Those two guys work really well together.
7 receptions for Joe Horn, 94 yards. He's eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark each of the last 2 seasons. From the 41-yard line. Brooks steps up, dumps it off. He was looking for Michael Lewis, but Derek Brooks knocked Lewis down. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
That time Tampa Bay's front four got a little bit of heat on Aaron Brooks. They collapsed the pocket, but most of the day I would have to give the advantage, and it's surprising because, you know, coming into this game, I said it right at the beginning, this front four was the biggest concern of the New Orleans Saints, but the New Orleans Saints offensive line has done a fine job of giving Aaron Brooks protection, except on that last play.
Play clock winding down. Brooks, pump fakes, now throws complete. Stallworth breaks free. Dante Stallworth into the end zone for his first National Football League touchdown. 41 yards from Aaron Brooks.
And how about the protection again by that Saints offensive line? Brooks had all day long. He was able to pump fake to his left to look the safety off. And then Dante Stallworth showed why he's a first-round pick. He's got some serious speed.
Jim Haslett told us yesterday is the fastest player he's ever been around.
That's right. He hit the stopwatch, remember?
The time Stallworth during a workout couldn't believe what it read. Thought he made a mistake. He did not.
Look at just how much time Aaron Brooks has. His offensive line builds him a fortress. Look at him. He looks off the safety. He looks there, pump fakes, and then he comes back to Dante Stallworth. No one even got close to Aaron Brooks. And then Stallworth just showed outstanding speed to blitz right into the end zone.
Carney's kickoff did not reach the end zone. It fell about a half yard shy. And that means a difference of 20 yards.
By rule, the ball is returned to the 40-yard line. First down.
If the ball had reached the end zone, Bucks would have started from their own 20. Instead, they will start from the 40-yard line.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. By CDW, the right technology right away. By WebMD, the place America comes for healthcare answers. And by Saturn, makers of the View, the redesigned L Series, and coming this fall, the all-new Ion.
Well, after the Buccaneers put together their most impressive drive of this football game, the Saints come right back. March downfield, 41-yard touchdown pass from Brooks to Stallworth.
Yeah, let's find out if Brad Johnson and the Bucs offense can do what they did the last time, which is just work every trick in the book.
Michael Pittman up the middle for a gain of 3. Darren Smith made the stop.
Well, that's how they started out the last drive, and they scored. They started out with a run. It was Allstott, and then we saw what Brad Johnson could do when he finally had some protection, completing that ball there to tight end Yoder, and then this one here to Keyshawn Johnson, which ultimately sets up this pass to Keenan McCardell Bucs came to life, but then, boy, Aaron Brooks and the Saints offense, they answered right back.
Saints have more than doubled up the Buccaneers in total yards. Johnson to the far side, complete Allstott. Good second effort. He picks up the first down at the New Orleans 47-yard line, a pickup of 9.
Once again, Kenny, both head coaches yesterday told us this game's going to be won on the line of scrimmage, and it's coming down to pressure on the quarterback. Brad Johnson, again, has time, and when he has time, he delivers a first down pass. There's Jim Haslett. You can see the scowl. He is ready to unleash some of these blitzes. He's got to get the pressure back on Brad Johnson.
On 1st and 10, the toss to Pittman looks to turn the corner, and is met by Fred Thomas after a gain of 4 down to the Saints' 44-yard line.
Brought down by number 22, Fred Thomas.
You get the sense that Tampa Bay is almost running just to keep the defense honest. And you get the sense that they're doing it, they're running to try to set up the pass.
Johnson on the day, 9 of 19, 108 yards in the air, 1 touchdown. 2nd and 6 off the play fake to Allstott. Johnson was under pressure. He was being chased by Martin Chase, so he throws it away.
So that's another protection breakdown by Tampa Bay's offensive front. And once again, the big concern coming into this game was the inexperience all along the right side of the line. See Todd Washington there, 77, Cornell Green, 74. 1 NFL start between them coming into this game. And there has been some confusion against this blitzing Saints defense.
Johnson with time, complete. No, Keyshawn dropped it. Keyshawn Johnson had it and then dropped it. Coming across the middle.
There's not too much you can say about that. That's a catch Keyshawn Johnson has got to make. But it's also a good play by Ken Irvin. Watch Irvin come in and slap his arm. He's got the catch almost made. Ken Irvin stays with it.
Tom Tupa's punt fielded by Michael Lewis. Lewis out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 37-yard punt by Tupa. The greatest pennant race in recent history is underway, and when the dust clears, Fox is the place to see the postseason drama unfold. We've got all the action covered, starting with the Division Series, continuing through the dramatic ALCS and NLCS, culminating with the 2002 World Series. And across the street from this stadium, Legends Field, the spring training home of the New York Yankees.
Yankees have won 4 out of the last 6 series. I think it's going to take a team like the Oakland A's, who's red hot, to knock them out. A's have won 21 out of their last 22 games, and they lead the West.
Been an incredible run for the A's, knocked out of the playoffs the last 2 years by the Yankees. Brooks rolling right on first down, complete to the fullback, Terrell Smith, and he's met by the free safety Dexter Jackson. Gain of just 2 on the play.
That was a nice open field tackle by Dexter Jackson, and when the ball is in Terrell Smith's hands, he's the fullback. I mean, that's that unfortunately, no offense to him and his family, but you're the last resort. I mean, he knows it out there. He's in there to block, and then he's in there as just the last man in the passing game. Big, strong man who most of the time is there to knock out linebackers.
There's call 3 today for a grand total of 6 yards. This time it's McAllister out of the backfield, and he gains 4 out to the 31-yard line. Ellis wins on the tackle.
Well, Kenny, here, 3rd down again. for Aaron Brooks and the Saints, and this is where they have been so effective today. 7 out of 12 third down situations, Aaron Brooks has converted. Finding his receivers downfield, and there's the touchdown to Boo Williams, and a lot of the credit goes to these guys. They have given Brooks plenty of time. Let's see if the Bucs can get to him.
Brooks on the keeper, picks up the first down. Well, Aaron Brooks, he's Michael Vick's cousin, and we know Michael Vick loves to run, but Aaron told us yesterday, I don't run until I have to. I like to be in the pocket and throw, but he can run. Finished third among quarterbacks last year.
He's pretty good. I mean, you saw it on that play there. And remember, we talked earlier about Brad Johnson. When he gets under pressure, that's not where he doesn't have that kind of mobility. But Aaron Brooks is that new age quarterback, like the Vick, like the McNabb, like the Garcia, the quarterback that they can play the pocket. He can throw, make the big throws, but he also, in distress, can run.
And now on first down, Brooks forced to throw it away.
And then Sapp was the guy that forced it. And we have seen a lot less of that today than, I think a lot of people expected. And I think the Saints offensive line, I don't know if you can give them enough credit for what has happened here today. There you see Fontenot and the Charles Bentley, Spencer Folau, Kendall Jacobs, left guard, and then Turley.
Fontenot, the only returning starter at the same position, with Turley moving to the left side. Brooks pump fakes, loads of time, throws, and it's caught for another first down by Joe Horn. His 8th reception of the game. It's good for 15 yards.
I got to tell you, remember we talked about Terrell Smith and not being a receiver? Smith's a fullback. Here's what he's meant to do. Watch him just stone the blitz. Watch him come into the picture right here and just stone the linebacker. Wham! Shelton Quarles. Look at that. That is blitz pickup, folks. And if you can pick up the blitz and neutralize it, then your quarterback gets to throw downfield.
So that is what Terrell Smith gets paid for.
That's what he's paid for. You're right. And he did a doggone good job.
Here's McAllister on first down. Now to the 44-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play. Anthony McFarland, LSU product, on the tackle.
Well, Kenny, I think in the first half, the Tampa Bay defense got worn down because they were out on the field too long. And I thought by the end of the first half, they really looked tired. They weren't able to get pressure on the quarterback, and I don't think that they were able to stop the run as well in the first half as it got later in the half. And you have to wonder now if they might not start to wear down again if they have to stay out on the field.
Brooks saw something he did not like, calls timeout with just over 3 minutes remaining. Third quarter, Jim Haslett's Saints leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by the score of 20-10. And the Saints on the move once again in Buccaneers territory. Aaron Brooks has done a terrific job today. He's passed for over 200 yards. Saints 8 of 13 on third down. It's been a high-scoring day, Tim, around the NFL. 9 teams have scored over 30 points today, including 3 losing teams.
Yeah, a lot of scoring. I think the surprise here, though, has been the Saints, outscoring Tampa Bay, and everyone was so excited about Tampa Bay's new offense under John Gruden, and we've seen flashes, Kenny. And certainly the biggest flash was right out of the locker room at halftime when they just drove right down for their only touchdown of the day.
2nd and 6 for the Saints. McAllister up the middle. A helmet goes flying. Gain of 4 as we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, fellas, an impressive offensive day for Steve Spurrier's offense. This is Shane Matthews hooking up with Darius Thompson, one of his 3 touchdown tosses on the day. Washington goes on to win it 31-23. Back to Kenny and Tim.
Thanks, JB. Jake Plummer's numbers, Shane Matthews' numbers. Again, Matthews, a former Gator down here in Florida with a big day today.
McAllister picks up the first down and more down to the Bucs 31-yard line. And before his stint as Florida Gators head coach, his first head coaching experience right here in Tampa with the USFL Bandits. Before that, he was the Buccaneers' first quarterback during their inaugural 1976 season. Spurrier throwing the touchdown pass, started 12 of the 14 games as the Bucs. Tim went 0-14.
Wow. Maybe that's why he's so brazen about winning now. You know, he had a lot of losses under his belt as a player. Still trying to get the bad taste out of his mouth.
Won his first game as an NFL head coach, and Smith couldn't hold on to that one.
That's okay. He's caught 3 today, and then he was outstanding on that blitz pickup earlier. Good coverage downfield that time by the Tampa Bay defense. But still, Aaron Brooks has really had a lot of time, even on that play there where it turned out to be a miscue. You know, an incomplete pass. He still was pretty much, you know, not unbothered back there in the backfield.
Second down and 10 for Brooks and the Saints from the Bucs 32. 3 wide receivers set. Brooks intercepted by Derek Brooks. Brings it back to the 47-yard line on 23-yard return for the 5-time Pro Bowl linebacker, Derek Brooks.
The guy that makes this happen and sets it up is not Derek Brooks. The guy is Al Singleton coming off the edge. And we've talked about what a good job Terrell Smith has done as a blitz pickup, but watch Smith on this one here. And Singleton comes around him, and there you see the heat that he puts in Brooks' face. And then the other Brooks, Derek Brooks, is able to pull this one down.
First turnover of the game, and now Johnson in trouble, gets it away. It's complete for a first down to Mike Alstott. Gain of 15 yards on the play.
Martin Chase was the guy who was on Brad Johnson. When Chase lost his shoe, he's hobbling off right now. He was on Johnson immediately. What a great get off by Johnson, and then a catch by Alstott.
From the Saints' 39-yard line, Alstott, who did not touch the ball in the first half, loss of a yard on the play. As time winds down in this third quarter with the Buccaneers on the move following the Saints' first turnover.
Alstott, as you said, didn't get in the first half, but he's been active here in the second. You know what I'm saying? He's reading him.
What did Warren Sapp tell us about his good friend Derek Brooks? He covers 9,000 miles of Florida highway when he's on the football field.
Like the Florida Highway Patrol, he said. He covers it all.
Clock winds down, ending this third quarter in Tampa. Buccaneers looking to capitalize on the Derek Brooks pick. They trail the Saints after 3 by 10 points.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Kickoff weekend in the National Football League. New Orleans Saints leading John Gruden's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kenny Albert with Tim Green. Well, 45 minutes in the books. What do you look for here in the fourth quarter?
Well, I look for Tampa Bay to try to keep that momentum that they had right in the beginning of the beginning of this half of that drive, and then watch for the Saints defense to get that blitz going again to try to continue to disrupt Brad Johnson. When Johnson has time, he's moving the ball downfield.
Johnson, complete. Keyshawn Johnson, wrapped up by Jay Bellamy after a gain of 5 5 yards on the first play of this fourth quarter.
Tell you what, though, Darren Smith pounds Brad Johnson again. So I think the adjustment that John Gruden, one of the adjustments he made at halftime was, we got to get our passing game going quicker. Look at that there. I mean, there was not a lot of time for Brad Johnson to throw that ball. So they've had to shorten their patterns. They've had to tighten their routes. And it seems to be working.
Johnson on 3rd and 6. Penalty marker as Keyshawn had it and then lost control. Charlie Clemens on the coverage, but a penalty flag in the defensive secondary.
Boy, it looked like it was a fabulous catch by Keyshawn Johnson. He just one-handed that thing, and I thought it was a catch and a fumble. Watch this here with his left hand. That's, to me, Kenny, that's a catch and then a fumble and then a recovery. That's something that they may want to just go ahead and, I don't know what it would have done field position-wise.
Well, let's see what Dick Hantak says about the flag.
Offense number 87. That penalty is declined because the pass was ruled incomplete. 4th down.
Offensive pass interference called on Keenan McCardell.
I would challenge that play. I don't know where he was on the field if it would have given him the first down, but that looked like a catch, Kenny. He had possession of that ball.
Well, here's Martin Gramatica, a 53-yard attempt on a 52-yarder blocked earlier, and this one is wide left. Gramatica just 1 for 3 today as the Bucs continue to trail by 10. Back in Tampa, Kenny Albert, Tim Green, Chip Carter. Following the missed field goal, Saints take over at their own 43-yard line. Martin Gramatica now 1 for 3. He hit from 52 on a 47-yarder block, and he was wide left from 53 yards out. Saints leading by 10 points. Brooks out of the shotgun on 1st down, dumps it off, and it's complete to McAllister, but he loses 2 yards on the play. Chased down by Chartrick Darby, second-year man out of South Carolina State.
This is what Tampa Bay's defense obviously needs to do. They did it before. The Saints were driving, and Derek Brooks came up with a big turnover. Tampa Bay's offense was able to get close, but no points.
On 2nd and 12, the toss to McAllister. Out to the 48-yard line. Flag on the play. Gain of 7, setting up 3rd down and 5 for the Saints. But the flag will push them back.
Holding. Offense, number 62, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
That's Jerry Fontenot. Let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tim, not the best offensive production today by St. Louis. And take a look at special teams. Bobbled hold, and Jeff Wilkins blows a 39-yard field goal attempt. And Denver nursing a 3-point lead, 16-13. Back to Kenny and Tim.
And you look at some of the numbers from the last time these two teams met. Kurt Warner exploded.
Brooks in trouble. Taken down. Chartrick Darby along with Greg Spires.
And that is the first time that Aaron Brooks has been sacked today. Watch him working here along with Sapp. That's what you might call coverage sack. Because Aaron Brooks had to hang on to that ball for quite some time.
Sets up a 3rd and 26. 4 wide receivers. Saints have to get to the Buccaneers 47 for a first down. McAllister. And the Saints will punt it away. So Jim Haslett conservative on 3rd and 26, and now they'll punt.
And when you say names like Warren Sapp and John Lynch and Derek Brooks and Simeon Rice, don't you, Rondé Barber, this is the kind of thing you think of. You think of that kind of a defensive series where they smother you, they get an interception on one series, then you come back and then they just smother you again.
So now we'll be up to the Bucs offense once again. Carl Williams awaiting the Dirk Johnson punt. Good kick this time from Johnson, taken at the 32. Williams out to the 40-yard line. 8-yard return. Fred McAfee brought him down. Back in Tampa, Saints leading by 10. Bucs back on offense from their own 40-yard line. Johnson to the air on first down. And it's caught. The Cardell in Saints territory, a gain of 13 yards. Well, next week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show, and then Warren Sapp and these same Buccaneers will take on the Ravens, who lost to Carolina today. Some of you will see the Giants and the Rams, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Some of the other featured games over the next couple of weeks here on Fox. Redskins and 49ers, week 3. Johnson stumbled, gets back up, and then finds his man at the 42-yard line. It's the tight end, Ken Dilger. Flag on the play. Charlie Clemens made the tackle.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, a dead ball foul on number 77. The down will count. We will penalize 15 yards. Second down.
Todd Washington cost the Buccaneers 15 yards.
Sammy Knight had come up to the pile and actually stepped over it when Todd Washington hammered him. Here, watch. Here's Washington here. Here's Knight. See, Knight comes over the pile and no question about that play being over and Washington taking it a little too far.
Penalty forces the Bucs back to their own 43-yard line.
32 dime for the blitz.
Johnson was pressured by Clemens. Charlie Clemens, 13.5 sacks from the linebacker position a year ago.
This defense has been so effective for the New Orleans Saints. Johnson again, pressure right on him. They come with 3 defensive linemen and then 2 linebackers set up in the middle. And you never know which one of those linebackers or safeties Jim Haslett is going to send on the pass rush. They're doing it again. See? 1, 2, 3.
Shovel pass to Pittman. Gains back a big chunk of yardage down to the 43-yard line. 13 yards on the play as we check in once again with JB.
Kenny and Tim, you know the story. Ed McCaffrey, 1 game last year because of a broken leg. First game back. How excited do you think Broncos fans are and McCaffrey with that reception for his first touchdown this season? Denver on top by 10, less than 6 in regulation. Back to Kenny and Tim.
Yeah, thanks, JB. You know, Chris Collinsworth was right. He said in the pregame show that McCaffrey was going to be a big difference for Parisi in Denver.
And another terrific special teams play. It's Corey Ivy again, downing the punt inside the 2-yard line. New Orleans Saints pinned inside their own 2-yard line with under 10 minutes to play. Saints leading the Buccaneers by 10. keep it on the ground with McAllister on first down out to the 5-yard line for a gain of 3. Shelton Quarles, Derek Brooks on the tackle.
The thing that has really worked today for the Saints has been the passing game. Joe Horn's got 8 catches, 108 yards. Aaron Brooks has been outstanding. They're 60% on third downs. So now they've got a little bit of breathing room, and I think if they want to put these Tampa Bay Bucs away, they're going to need to get back to what they're doing best.
On 2nd and 7, McAllister again, wrapped up by John Lynch after a gain of 2, so it will be 3rd and 5 for the Saints.
And now it's a known passing situation, and again, this is where Aaron Brooks has been really good today in these third down situations, but he's done it well because his offensive line has given him time. And this is a key play here, not only third down, but the Bucs have got the Saints pinned down, and the big guys up front, Sapp and McFarland and Rice, they need to get some heat on Aaron Brooks.
The Saints 9 of 15 on third down today. Brooks from the end zone. Incomplete, penalty marker.
They got the heat.
Pass intended for Dante Stallworth. Bucs indicating it's against the Saints. Here's Dick Hancock.
Holding. Defense, number 53. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Wow, it's Shelton Quarles. Defensive holding. A first down for the Saints.
It's a shame because the front four did what they had to do. Watch Rice come from this side. Here's Sapp coming from that side. They forced Brooks to rush his throw. But here's Shelton Quarles in the middle. Watch Quarles right here. And he's got the coverage there, and he grabs hold of David Sloan, and that's an obvious penalty for the official to call. Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, that's just got to turn his stomach.
McAllister on first down, still on his feet, out to the 26-yard line, a gain of 14 yards. Chased out by Warren Sapp.
And again, Kenny, you know, when the defense is fresh, when Sapp and company were fresh, they were containing McAllister. But then in the second quarter, McAllister started to open it up a little. And now I think, again, you know, maybe this Tampa Bay defense is getting tired out again. It takes a lot of juice out of you to rush the passer.
Bucs defense.
Look at that right there. McAllister in the first quarter, 2.2. In the second quarter, 4.0 yards per carry.
Bucs defense, Tim, has been on the field for over 60 plays as Brooks calls timeout. On the other side, their offense has been on the field for only 41 plays. So the defense has been out there for over 60% of this game, and it's 90 degrees here in Tampa. Midway through the fourth quarter, Jim Haslett's Saints continue to lead by 10. Time of possession, a big part of the story of today's game, with the Saints on top with just over 7 minutes remaining. First and 10 Saints from their own 26-yard line. Brooks hands it off McAllister. Gains 2 out to the 28. Greg Spires made the tackle.
And Deuce McAllister has looked outstanding today. You see the explosion and the perseverance and the ability to spin off tacklers and run up through the center of the defense.
McAllister 96 yards on the ground for the Saints. Play clock winding down on 2nd and 7. McAllister. Dexter Jackson grabbed hold, loss of 1 on the play.
Saints playing it safe on 1st and 2nd down, running with McAllister. And the Bucs defense, it looks like McAllister may be
banged up a little bit.
Callister carried the ball only 16 times during his rookie season, playing behind Ricky Williams, who, by the way, gained 111 yards on the ground today for the Miami Dolphins. Remember, the Saints have been outstanding on third down today. This is third down and 8. Sapp's got it. From the blind side, Brooks never saw Warren Sapp coming.
Sapp and Rice got Brooks in the last third down situation, and Sapp gets him this time. Watch Warren Sapp. He's out here. He's working on Kendall Jaycox. Jaycox has got him alone, and that's a dangerous thing to do. To leave anyone man on man to block Warren Sapp when everyone knows it's a pass play. So again, the Bucs defense gives that offense another chance.
Dirk Johnson punting from his own 15, end over end. And it will stop at the 37. Penalty flag on the field. 44-yard punt by Johnson. It's against the Bucs.
Holding during the punt. Number 56, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Ryan Neese, Ronnie Lott's son, flagged for the penalty.
Warren Sapp, the heart and soul of this Tampa Bay team. 2 tackles, 1 sack today. Critical sack on that last play. Ball back now in the hands of this offense, and they got to do something and do it fast. They got to do something.
Trailing by 10 points. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Buccaneers start at their own 27-yard line with 3 wide receivers on first down. Johnson complete. Michael Pittman tackled at the 35-yard line after a gain of 8 by Darren Smith.
Tampa Bay already in their hurry-up offense. John Gruden, a lot of expectations for John Gruden and what he was going to bring to this franchise on the offensive side of the ball. And really, Kenny, we've seen very little of it today. A lot of the reason has been because of, what we just saw there. Brad Johnson on the ground. We had the one drive from Tampa Bay's offense right after half where they drove right down and scored their only touchdown, a pass to Keaton McCardell. Otherwise, it's been Jim Haslett's Saints defense coming with all kinds of exotic blitzes, running free to Brad Johnson, knocking him around.
Play action on third down. Johnson complete. Mike Olstad, what a catch. Out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
You can't make a living in this play, though. Again, Brad Johnson gets pounded to the ground. He's hammered. But he just lofts it up, and Olstad does a super job of catching the ball over his shoulder.
And, Tim, this is what the Buccaneers have done on offense today. Only 220 total yards, just 1 for 9 on third down. And their longest drive, only 6 plays. Trailing the Saints by 10. Terrific effort by the New Orleans defense. Offensively for the Saints, Aaron Brooks, big numbers. Joe Horn, 108 yards receiving. Saints 9 of 16 on third down, but now the Bucs on the move offensively with 4.5 remaining. Receiver set for the Bucs. Johnson on first down, complete Keenan McCardell down to the Saints 42, a gain of 8 yards.
And those are the kind of matchups Tampa Bay needs to find. Keenan McCardell, he's got man-to-man coverage. There's Irvin right there. Johnson looks across the field, he sees it. He sees the man-to-man and he gets the ball to him.
2nd and 2. Johnson with time. Keyshawn across the middle. Took a hit from Sammy Knight.
That was a dangerous pass by Brad Johnson. Because Sammy Knight has outstanding acceleration. So you see a lot of safeties back there. And if they're behind and they're deep in the zone, you think you can sneak it in underneath them. But he's got a great change of direction and great explosiveness.
Sammy Knight went to his first Pro Bowl last year, a teammate of Keyshawn Johnson at USC. 3rd down and 2. Quick drop, quick slant, caught, 1st down. Down to the 33-yard line, Keyshawn Johnson, a gain of 10.
Right to the single coverage again, Kenny. Brad Johnson came out. He had 3 wide receivers to his right, 3 receivers right. Keyshawn was left. He saw it was man coverage with just Ken Irvin on Keyshawn, and he went right at him.
From the Saints 33, 7th play of the drive. It's their longest drive. Brad Johnson again to Keyshawn Johnson. On 1st down, a 9-yard pass play down to the 23-yard line.
Again, he sees him singled up. And if you're going to win, if you're going to be a championship team, when it's at the end of the game like that, you got to be able to throw to Keyshawn. He's got to be able to be single coverage. And we've seen it 2 plays in a row now.
Keyshawn 5 receptions in the game, 76 yards. Brad Johnson, 2nd and 1, incomplete, intended for the tight end, Todd Yoder.
Johnson hammered again. This time it was Darren Howard. Watch Brad Johnson. Look how quick the pressure is on him. Heck, this is a screen pass, but you're supposed to be able to draw the defense back and let that thing develop underneath you. He's going to be in the ice tub tonight.
Remaining. Buccaneers trailing by 10. 3rd down and 1 from the 24. Johnson on the keeper. Has the 1st down and more. He gains 5 yards down to the New Orleans 19.
This makes you think that Tampa Bay should have played the hurry-up offense all game long, right, Kenny?
And then next week, from the 19, Johnson looking, throws, complete, down to the 11-yard line to Joe Jurevicius.
That's a gutsy throw right there again. You just see Brad Johnson. It's like the tougher things get, the better he gets. Threw that right into coverage. Just threaded that ball right through the defense to find Jurevicius. With Stan Parrish, the quarterback's coach for Tampa Bay. We had dinner with him on Friday night, and a friend of our producer, P.T. Navarro, and he said, during the preseason, Brad Johnson came up to me on the sideline and said, 90% of these things come down to the last 2 minutes.
They usually do. 3rd down and 2 from the Saints' 11-yard line. Johnson throws, touchdown, Joe Jurevicius.
What a catch.
Touchdown pass, Brad Johnson to Joe Jurevicius. Martin Gramatica pulls the Buccaneers within 3 with 2:41 remaining. 2nd touchdown pass of this 2nd half for Brad Johnson. very much, Joe Buck. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Broncos and the Rams, a 23-16 Denver victory here in Tampa. Kenny Albert with Tim Green. That's Joe Jurevicius, who just caught an 11-yard touchdown pass from Brad Johnson to pull the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to within 3 of the New Orleans Saints with 2:41 remaining in John Gruden's debut as Buccaneers head coach.
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers started this game out, and their offense just fizzled. It's John Gruden's new offense, and they look pathetic. Then they came out in the second half, showed one good series, flattened out again, and then when they go into the hurry-up offense, Kenny, in that last series, they looked outstanding. Lining up now for the onside kick. Saints calling a timeout.
Buccaneers setting up for the onside kick. Timeout called by the Saints, their final timeout.
Well, I told you that Brad Johnson was hammered in the first half. The Saints came after him, and they just blitzed him. Then Aaron Brooks showed what he's got. He's been outstanding, especially on third down. Tampa Bay came back. New Orleans struck again. And then Warren Sapp came up with a big third down sack to set up this drive and this touchdown, where Brad Johnson just worked his offense all the way down the field. He found the matchups. He found the single coverage. And then on that last play there, Jurevicius was covered, who's a wide receiver, was covered by a linebacker.
Saints led 13-3, a pair of Carney field goals, a touchdown reception by tight end Boo Williams. Second half, Keenan McCardell from Brad Johnson, his first touchdown as a Buck. And then the rookie Dante Stallworth, his first NFL touchdown, 41-yard pass play from Aaron Brooks. And Brad Johnson to Joe Jurevicius. Johnson, 7 of 10, 68 yards on that last Buccaneers drive. Kenny Albert, Tim Green, Chip Carter on the sidelines here in Tampa. With the Saints leading by 3, Buccaneers decide to kick it away. Michael Lewis chasing in the end zone. And the Saints will start on their own 20-yard line. So now, Tim, it's up to the Buccaneers defense once again.
In the last several series, the defense has answered. They've come up with turnovers. They've stopped the Saints on third down. And as we said and showed, Warren Sapp with a key third down sack. The only sack of the day that he's had. But it was an important one.
Now referee Dick Hantak signaling the penalty on the kickoff.
Offside on the kicking team, number 35, 5-yard penalty, free kick.
That's Corey Ivy, who's had a tremendous day on special teams. He is down 2 punts inside the 2-yard line.
And on the other side of the ball, Kenny, yeah, Ivy's had a great day, but for the Saints, Joe Horn, he's had 8 catches, 108 yards. He's looked outstanding. And then Deuce McAllister, the Saints' replacement of Ricky Williams, who had 111 yards for Miami today in their victory. Well, Deuce McAllister, his replacement, has had 95 yards here today on the ground. And at times, he has looked outstanding.
By the way, Tim, the reason the clock is still at 2:41, it did not start on that last kickoff.
New rule.
One of the new rules this year on a kickoff, clock does not start until the ball is touched.
Can you take a look at these timeouts? Tampa Bay with 2 timeouts left, and they've got the 2-minute warning. So their defense over the last couple series has been the defense you'd expect from Tampa Bay. They've gotten pressure on Aaron Brooks, which they really did not do most of this game. For the first 3 quarters, the New Orleans Saints offensive line with Kyle Turley as left tackle, with LaCharles Bentley, the rookie at right guard, have done an outstanding job for 3 quarters.
Martin Gramatica getting set to kick off. He's missed 2 field goals today. One of the 2 is blocked. And the deficit is 3. Michael Lewis from the 5. Lewis on the return for the Saints. out of bounds at the 29-yard line, 24-yard return. So Aaron Brooks and the Saints offense go back to work with 2 minutes, 34 seconds remaining, leading by a field goal.
Brooks coming into it today with a new contract, a $5 million signing bonus. We talked to him yesterday. He said he was relieved to have it. He's going to buy himself a new house. Look at the numbers he's had today. And the most impressive thing about the Saints and the Saints offense of Brooks, really, Kenny, has been on third down. At one point in time, he was 67%. They're now 56%, and you're looking at the reason why that number's dropped off. Warren Sapp has been able to bring the heat.
Crowd on their feet from the 29-yard line. Deuce McAllister up the middle. And the second-year man from Ole Miss is over the 100-yard mark for the day. 103 yards for McAllister as the Bucs use their second timeout.
This right now is what's called a 4-minute offense for the Saints. It's when you've got the lead and there's about 4 minutes or so left to go in the game, and you want to hang on to the lead, and you need to be able to just pound it down the other team's throat. And that run was a great start for the Saints. McAllister had an outstanding preseason. He averaged 4.8 yards a carry. Jim Haslett talked about last season and the way this team dropped their last 4 straight, and he said it was a huge disappointment. Aaron Brooks tailed off. Haslett blamed himself. He said, I think I pressed my guys too hard. I think I worked them too hard. So he took the foot off the gas in preseason this year a little bit, built up their confidence. They got a couple wins. We'll see if they can get one for real today.
On 2nd and 2, it's McAllister again, and this time he is forced back. Alshimon Singleton, number 51, for the Bucs.
Singleton came. Shelton Quarles was the first guy with the penetration. So you see the Bucs are going for it all. There's Lynch. They're sending the linebackers. They're sending the safeties right up into the line of scrimmage.
Buccaneers use their final timeout, stopping the clock with 2 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. Neither team with a timeout left. A huge third down play upcoming. Saints have been outstanding on third down. There's Monty Kiffin, Bucs defensive coordinator, former defensive coordinator with the Saints back in 1995.
This Tampa Bay team, known for their defense over the last couple of years. Last year, they were just 6th in the league. Warren Sapp said a lot of the reason for the drop-off, not that it was a huge drop-off, was because he and Aaron Brooks were both hurt. Sapp played the year with a torn rotator cuff. Derek Brooks played it with a sprained foot. He said they were going to be better this year. People expected the offense to be better under Gruden. We've only seen flashes of that offense today.
Third down and a long 2. Brooks from the shotgun, throws to the outside. Brian Kelly on the coverage. He had Horn all wrapped up.
Kenny, over the last 3 or 4 series, the Saints have run it on 1st and 2nd down and then gone to the pass on 3rd down. It has not paid off for them here late in the game. So a somewhat conservative approach by the Saints may prove to be their undoing.
Carl Williams from the 23 hurdles out of bounds. 4-yard return, 41-yard punt by rookie Dirk Johnson. So the Buccaneers will be able to run one play before the 2-minute warning. Trailing by 3, they put together 2 impressive offensive drives in this second half. On the last one, going with the hurry-up offense, Brad Johnson was 7 for 10, 68 yards and a touchdown.
Tampa Bay coming into this game played the game with 2 very inexperienced players on the right side of the line, and Brad Johnson's paid for it most of the day.
From the 26, on 1st down, Johnson in trouble, dumps it off to Michael Pittman, chased by Charlie Clemens. Penalty marker as Johnson took the hit from Willie Whitehead. And And a personal foul against the Saints.
Well, Brad Johnson has taken a pounding all day from this Saints defense. They've done it with linebackers, they've done it with safeties, they've done it with defensive linemen. They've done it blitzing, and they've done it with a four-man rush.
And Whitehead would not let up the initial indication. Personal foul, New Orleans. Which would cost the Saints a crucial 15 yards.
And it was a kind of a boneheaded thing that Willie Whitehead did. Because Johnson had gotten rid of the ball, and then Whitehead just kind of slams him to the ground.
Here's Dick Hantak.
Personal foul. Defense. Number 98. The foul occurred during the run. Since we had the foul behind the line of scrimmage and the dead ball spot behind the line of scrimmage, we were penalized from the spot closest to the previous spot. 15 yards. First down.
.151 remaining. Buccaneers on the move.
Tampa Bay picks up 15 yards as a result of this penalty. Watch Willie Whitehead. He gets Brad Johnson. The ball's gone, and right there, he body slams Johnson to the turf, and he knows it. Johnson, as we said, has taken a pounding all day from this defense. He came to life on the last series. 7 out of 10 and ending of the touchdown.
Vicious out to the 45-yard line for a gain of 5, setting up 2nd and 5. With 1:46 remaining, we'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world and watching Fox NFL Sunday. We hope you'll join us all season long on the American Forces Network.
And we'd like to welcome you, and we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for ourselves and our families for what you do for all of us.
From the 45 on 2nd and 5, Johnson complete. Keenan McCardell down to the 44-yard line. Buccaneers getting closer and closer to field goal range. Gain of 11.
No timeouts. Tampa Bay used it to stop the clock when New Orleans had it. This looks like what we saw on the last drive, Kenny.
From the 44 on first down, Johnson rolling right, and then he throws it away as he was under extreme pressure again, this time from the first-round draft pick out of Georgia, Charles Grant.
Boy, what a change in this game. The first half, it was all the New Orleans Saints, and really much of the third quarter, it was Aaron Brooks and Deuce McAllister and Joe Horn wearing down that Tampa Bay defense. And now John Gruden's new offense with the Tampa Bay Bucs is coming to life.
On second down, play action. Johnson with time over the middle, nearly picked off. Keyshawn Johnson, the intended receiver, and Ken Irvin, the longtime Buffalo Bill, nearly intercepted Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson has made some risky throws here late in the game, but none riskier than this. Watch Keyshawn. He's going to cut across the middle of the field, and Ken Irvin had perfect position on it. That is forcing the ball. Look at this. Look at Irvin. Irvin had better position to catch it than Keyshawn Johnson. So Brad Johnson gets away with one on that.
Now 3rd and 10. No timeouts remaining for the Bucs. Just over a minute left. Johnson complete. Joe Jurevicius. First down at the Saints 31. A gain of 13 yards.
Tampa Bay O-line gave Johnson time. They picked up the blitz. And how many times today have we seen that offensive front not pick up the blitz? And Brad Johnson take a pounding. That time they picked it up, they gave him just enough time. Jurevicius had single coverage. The other wide receivers were double covered. Jurevicius was the only one singled. Johnson found him. Watch him right here. Here he is. And you're going to see right there, just one man on him. the safety, and Johnson finds him.
Big second half for Jurevicius. Caught the touchdown pass, which pulled the Buccaneers to within 3. Johnson tripped up, gets back up, and then is crushed once again.
Gramatica has made one from 52 today, missed one from 47 in his block, and missed another from 53.
Johnson complete down at the 22-yard line to McCardell. He faked the spike. Looked to fool the Saints. It's fourth down.
They've got to kick the field goal.
Field goal unit hurrying on. 2 for the holders, setting up at the 30. This a 40-yard attempt. Clock winding down. If he makes it, we will head to overtime. Gramatica's kick is good. The Buccaneers have tied it with no time remaining.
Was nothing short of pathetic in the first half of this football game. They could do almost nothing. They came out in the second half. They had one exciting drive for a touchdown. They fizzled again, Kenny, until these last 2 drives when Brad Johnson went into the hurry-up offense. And he looked fantastic. Driving down for the touchdown to Jurevicius. And now this drive and the Gramatica field goal to tie it up. What a change, though, right?
Buccaneers come back from a 10-point deficit in the fourth quarter.
Has called tails. It is heads.
We want the ball.
Tampa Bay has won the toss and will receive.
So the Buccaneers will get the football first in overtime.
Tampa Bay has won the toss.
The Saints, Tim, have gone 61 games without overtime, longest streak among every team in the NFL, but they're heading for an extra session today. Buccaneers and Saints are tied at 20, thanks to the foot of Martin Gramatica. Well, Martin Gramatica, who missed 2 field goals earlier, one of the 2 was blocked, sends the game into overtime for the Bucs.
Look what happened, Kenny, how he got to that last field goal. Brad Johnson, realizing it's 4th down, pulling his team off, the offense off. Gramatica has to rush on. The clock is winding down with only seconds to go. And that's why you practice the hurry-up. Gramatica scored the points, but you really have to credit Brad Johnson and his throwing. He was 16 for 24 in this fourth quarter with 144 yards and a touchdown. Before that, it was just awful. His numbers were just nasty.
John Carney kicking off to begin overtime. Taken at the 11-yard line by Aaron Stecker. Stecker still on his feet. Out to the 42. A 31-yard return. Finally taken down by Ken Irvin, and Stecker celebrates. We welcome those of you who have been watching John Gruden's former club, the Raiders, and the Seahawks. Kenny Albert, Tim Green. Wild turn of events here in Tampa. Brad Johnson led the Buccaneers back from a 10-point fourth quarter deficit. Martin Gramatica sent the game into overtime with no time left. And now the Buccaneers start from their own 42.
They have to attack with the same kind of offensive urgency that we've seen on the last two drives.
They start with a 4-wide receiver set. Pass to Travis Stevens. Penalty marker as the rookie from Tennessee enters Saints territory. A gain of 9 on the play.
I like that play call. That's what Tampa Bay has to do. They have to treat it like it's a hurry-up situation. That is the only thing that's worked for them today, Kenny.
Illegal substitution. Defense had 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 5 yards.
Remember, a key penalty killed Jim Haslett's Saints during the last Bucs drive in the fourth quarter. The personal foul against Willie Whitehead. And now a 5-yard penalty, 12 men on the field.
For those of you who just joined us, we started out in the first half, and Carney had 2 field goals for the Saints. Boo Williams had a 32-yard touchdown catch. Aaron Brooks was on fire in the first half.
Saints led the game 20-10, but the Buccaneers have come back. We are in overtime. Mike Alstott wrapped up at the 49-yard line by Darren Smith after a gain of 2.
2 remarkable things for both teams at the line of scrimmage. One was the pressure that the Saints defenders were able to put on Brad Johnson all game long until these last couple series. Before that, they just pounded him relentlessly with blitzes, with rushes. And then on the other side of the ball, the Saints offensive line did an outstanding job for 3 quarters protecting their quarterback.
Michael Pittman down to the New Orleans 46, a gain of 5. Sammy Knight made the stop.
The Saints defense now is in desperate need of a big play. They need something big because the momentum belongs totally to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Saints, a team that lost their last 4 games in convincing fashion a year ago, outscored 78-0 over their last 7 quarters, but off to a terrific start today and had the game in control in the fourth quarter. From the 46, Alstott met from behind for a loss of 3 yards. Sammy Knight again coming up with a strong safety spot to make the tackle.
Sammy Knight, Darren Smith, and I like that decision by Rick Venturi, the Saints defensive coordinator. They've got to be aggressive. Aggressive is how they controlled 3 quarters of this game. Aggressive is how they were up 20-10 and how they pounded Brad Johnson. Passive, conservative is what got them into this mix now, where Tampa Bay's tied it up.
2nd down and 13. McCardell in motion. From the Saints 49. Johnson swings it out to Alstott. Mike Alstott inside the 40 to the 39. A pickup of 10 on the play.
And this is the kind of excitement, the kind of energy that people hope John Gruden would bring to this offense. Mixing it up, throwing the ball, running the ball, different plays. Throw it to Mike Alstott on the perimeter. Let him run. Back to a receiver. And that kind of mix and the excitement is what we've seen in the last few series.
Now 3rd down and 3. Bucs must get to the 36-yard line of the Saints for a 1st down. Johnson looking to the tight end, Ken Dilger. Covered on the play by the linebacker, Cedric Hodge.
Saints defense did an outstanding job. They got the pressure. Cedric Hodge got the coverage. Brad Johnson did not have time. Watch the pressure. Watch it coming right there. He sees it. He feels it. They He has to make a desperate throw.
Now this would have been a 56-yard field goal attempt, so on 4th and 3 from the Saints 39, Bucs send out the punt team. Tom Tampa will look to pin the Saints, but he put a little too much on it. Touchback. Saints will get it starting from their own 20. Coming up next on Fox, except on the West Coast, The Simpsons at 8, followed by King of the Hill, and then back-to-back Malcolm in the middle. Coming up tonight, except on the West Coast, right here on Fox.
It has been an exciting day all across the National Football League. None more exciting than this, but this is the third overtime game today. Green Bay and Atlanta went in overtime. The Jets and Buffalo. Green Bay and the Jets prevailing.
Saints and Buccaneers tied at 20. 3.5 minutes into overtime.
They got to chuck it. They got to start throwing the ball around.
Brooks, incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Boo Williams, who caught the touchdown pass back in the first half from Aaron Brooks.
John Lynch had real tight coverage on Boo Williams. But I still think this is what the Saints need to do. They need to go to the air. Aaron Brooks is how they got their 20-point lead. You see that? Boy, Boo Williams has got to catch that ball with his hands. He let it through his hands, and it bounced off his shoulder pads.
2nd and 10 from the 20. We are in overtime here in Tampa. Brooks again incomplete.
Boy, Shelton Quarles just stoned Deuce McAllister. And I think that's where Aaron Brooks wanted to throw the ball. Take a look at, here's Shelton Quarles here. Watch McAllister come out of the backfield. And I think he's the primary receiver. That was Derek Brooks who hit him. And he just knocks McAllister down before he can catch the ball.
Saints on 3rd down today, 9 for 17. 3rd and 10. Pressure on Brooks. Rolls away. Looks downfield. Throws. Deflected. And then Rondé Barber broke it up. Brooks was looking for Jerome Pathon, but Barber got the hand in.
That was just a taste of why Rondé Barber is a Pro Bowl cornerback. How long did he have to stay with his coverage? A long, long time. Aaron Brooks able to buy a lot of it. Rondé Barber stays with it, and look at him right there. Wow. That's just perfect play by a defensive back.
Paul Williams takes the Dirk Johnson punt at the 41. Penalty marker, another flag. 5-yard return by Williams following the 39-yard punt. And 2 flags down on the field. You can't tack our referee.
Illegal block in the back during the return. Number 38, 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's John Howell, the guilty Buccaneer. So John Gruden's bunch, Tim, get the ball for the 2nd time on offense here in overtime.
I just think, Kenny, coming into this game, coming into this season, the Bucs gave $8 million, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks to the Oakland Raiders to get John Gruden as their coach. They brought him here to give him new life on the offense. The defense set the standard over the past couple of years, but the playoffs haven't been enough for Tampa Bay. They wanted a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson, look at that number. Look at those numbers. First half, awful. Second half, outstanding.
The toss to Michael Pittman. Pittman forced out of bounds at the 43-yard line after a gain of 7.
When Tampa Bay fans saw what happened in the first half with this new John Gruden offense, I'm sure they were absolutely stunned. But the numbers they've seen here late in the game have been the exact opposite. Look at that. 5 for 15, and a lot of that was just Brad Johnson not getting protection.
Second down and 3 from the 43. White clock winding down. Off the fake. Johnson on the keeper. Wiggles his way out to the 45-yard line. Stopped about a yard short of the marker.
Allstott missed the audible. Watch it here. Brad Johnson wants to hand the ball off to him. Allstott's too far outside. He's running a different play. He's running a toss. Johnson's running what he thinks is just going to be a handoff.
Now the Buccaneers facing 3rd and 1 from their own 45-yard line. Allstott has the first down. Where did him go? No communication problems that time. Allstott down for the Saints 47. Needed 1, he gained 8.
One thing you know with a player like Mike Allstott, when you make a mistake on one play, the next play, you're going to do something special. And Allstott does. Look at him run through the tacklers. Look at him spinning and just blasting his way for much more than just the first down.
From the Saints 47 on first down. Buccaneers keep it on the ground. This time it's Pittman for a gain of 2. Brady Jackson, the former Raider, made the tackle. And speaking of the Raiders, as Gruden goes into overtime in his first game as Buccaneers head coach, last game he coached with the Raiders, the overtime playoff loss to the New England Patriots.
The weather's a little different here today.
Yes.
That was a snowy day, and this has been a hot one. And Brady Jackson was part of the reason he and Norman Handler, why the Bucs thought coming into this day, they would be able to run the ball up the middle. They wanted to keep their runs to the outside, and they wanted to pass the ball.
From the 45, getting closer and closer to field goal range. Johnson took a hit, and the center, Jeff Christie, falls on it.
And that looks like we took a play out of the first half, Kenny, where Brad Johnson is just getting hammered. There's Willie Whitehead, and that was a fumble. Whitehead reaches out, knocks the ball out of Brad Johnson's hand. A sack and a fumble, and the Bucs are lucky Jeff Christie was able to get it.
That's speaking about that Oakland New England game, reminiscent of the tuck play.
Right. Yeah. That was not a tuck play.
I think that was going through Gruden's mind right there. Bucs have to get to the 37 for a first down. Johnson under pressure, incomplete. He was looking for Mike Allstott.
And once again, the Saints controlled most of this game with the blitz. And here in a critical third down, again, it's the blitz. Coming from the outside, watch the pressure come right here on Brad Johnson. Darren Smith is the man. He comes untouched. Nice pressure in front of Johnson. Nice pressure behind him.
Tupa punting for the second time in overtime. Again, boots it into the end zone, 51 yards. Only 31 net. 7:18 remaining in overtime. Once again, coming up tonight on Fox, except on the West Coast, The Simpsons at 8, followed by King of the Hill, and then back-to-back episodes of Malcolm in the Middle.
Saints have not been able to put anything together offensively here in the last, 5-6 series? It's been a long time since they've put points on the board, and a long time since they've effectively moved the ball.
4 punts, 1 interception their last 5 drives. McAllister on first down, a gain of 7 out to the 27-yard line. Alshirman Singleton made the tackle. This is the third overtime game on kickoff Sunday. Shane Matthews helped lead the Redskins to victory over the Arizona Cardinals as Steve Spurrier's group gained 442 yards, Tim, of total offense.
So the question of whether Spurrier could score points with his offense and chalk up yards in the NFL like he did in college was answered today.
McAllister stopped for no gain. In the preseason, Redskins came down here to Tampa and walloped the Buccaneers 40-10 here in the regular season opener. It's the Buccaneers and the Saints tied at 20. 6 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in overtime. Kenny Albert, Tim Green, and Chip Carter on the sidelines coming to you from Tampa.
Saints started this game out dominating. Aaron Brooks was able to move the ball up and down the field. Joe Horn with over 100 yards receiving. Deuce McAllister got in running it. Tampa Bay's offense was pitiful in the first half. They came back, scored a touchdown on their first drive. They were dead most of the rest of the third and fourth quarter until late in the game.
Brooks on 3rd and 4. It's complete for a first down to Jerome Paython up at the 38-yard line for a gain of 12.
And this is exactly where Aaron Brooks has been good all day long on 3rd down. Now, he lagged a little in the fourth quarter, but other than that, 3rd down, he's used his feet, he's used his mobility, he's had time, and he finds his receiver.
Saints outstanding on 3rd down today as Brooks hits Paython again, and it's Rondé Barber coming up to make the tackle.
Rondé Barber has just unbelievable change of direction. We saw him break up that pass to Paython earlier when Aaron Brooks scrambled. Watch where Barber has to come from to come out and make this tackle. He's in there trying to sell the blitz, and he comes all the way outside and makes an open field tackle for a minimal gain. He has played his heart out today, Rondé Barber.
Certainly has. 2nd down and 8 from the 41. Off the play fake. Brooks in trouble. Incomplete.
There's the heat from Simeon Rice. He's been working on Kyle Turley all day long. Relatively quiet. We've seen a little bit of pressure from Rice here late in the game, but on that one there, he worked Turley, he worked the edge, and he got his hands right on Aaron Brooks. Turley switched from right tackle last year to left tackle this year after the Saints let Willie Rote go. But Turley played that position in college, and he's played well today.
3rd down and 8. 3 wide receivers. Brooks looking and could not find anyone.
Sack. Another big 3rd down play by the big man. He said he was going to be better this year. Played all last year with a torn rotator cuff. Had it repaired in January. Rehab for 4 months. He said it was the longest 4 months of his life.
Told us last year was last year. It's in the past. Johnson's punt, fielded by Williams at the 10. Breaks 1 tackle. But that is taken down at the 6-yard line by Mel Mitchell. Terrific coverage on special teams. A loss of 4 on the return.
Let's take a look at the first half. Brad Johnson took a pounding in the first half. Aaron Brooks was outstanding, throwing the ball all over the field. Then in the second half, the Bucs came out right away with quick strikes and touchdowns. But Aaron Brooks answered to take the lead. Late in the game, it's been Warren Sapp and the defense stopping when it's critical. Brad Johnson with 2 drives, ending with this no time on the clock kick by Martin Gramatica to send this thing into overtime. And Kenny, 4:14 left. I mean, this thing is sneaking up on a possible tie.
Funny you should say that, because I was about to tell you about the last tie in NFL history after this play. 1st and 10 from the 6. Michael Pittman was back in November of 1997. Remember when Gus Frerotte gave himself the concussion, slammed his helmet into the wall? It was that game, a 7-7 tie between the Redskins and the Giants. Eagles and Ravens tied at 10 the week before that, so no ties since the 97 season. There have been 15 in the history of the league. Remember the Simpsons up next, except on the West Coast, followed by King of the Hill, and back-to-back episodes of Malcolm in the Middle. Johnson from the end zone, forced to throw it away. Pressured by Darren Howard. So the Buccaneers now looking at 3rd and 11 from their own 5-yard line.
You know, Tampa Bay here in overtime, they've kind of slid back into what they were doing in the first half, Kenny. You know, the most excitement we've seen out of this offense was when they were in the hurry-up. Just Brad Johnson just running to the line of scrimmage, snapping the ball, reading the defense, looking for the singled-up receiver. Now you know the Saints are going to blitz them. There's that 32 dime, those 3 down defensive linemen, and they have been on him all day from that defense.
Johnson complete for the tight end, Kent Dilger, but he stopped about 9 yards shy of the marker, so the Buccaneers will punt once again. So on the 155th play from scrimmage today in 90-degree heat, Buccaneers unable to move the chains.
And you know, Kenny, in preseason, these guys, none of them plays a full game. So it's tough enough just to get through your first game in the heat in September. Oh, look at this.
Cooper in the end zone. Intercepted. The Saints win. The Saints win. Intercepted in the end zone by James Allen, the 3rd-round draft pick from Oregon State. The punter, Tupa, a former quarterback under pressure, is picked off in the end zone. An incredible ending here in Tampa.
And this whole stadium is in shock. The pressure came from the right side. Tupa just got buried back there. Let's take a look. Look, here comes the pressure right there from the outside. And Tupa makes a feeble attempt at a pass, and Allen is just right there. What a gift.
The special teams captain, Fred McAfee, pressured Tupa. And Tupa, who started 13 games at quarterback back in the early 90s for the then Phoenix Cardinals, looked to throw it out of the end zone. It was intercepted. James Allen, in his first NFL game, becomes the 14th player in league history to win a game in overtime with an interception. We'll return to Tampa right after these messages.
Tom Tupa's the punter. Fred McAfee beats his man around the corner. Watch McAfee come in here. He's going to block it. He stops it. Tupa, a former quarterback, tries to dish it off. There's James Allen for the touchdown for the Saints. Saints pressured the Tampa Bay offense all game long, and this time they pressured the special teams for the win.
So